So,
you know, it's really hard to know where you're standing.
Where?
On episode 3 of the Untitled Podcast. We are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry, Sean, I did not mean to interrupt you. But if we're gonna do this, I feel we might as well do it right. We've had a couple of episodes that did not air, and that's just because we decided to shoot the shit, which is what we normally do, anyways. Sean is not complaining about his job. He's just breaking it down. Works for a new spot that turns into a nightclub. I'm not gonna dox him, but if you know where to look, you know where to look, and if you don't, fuck you, don't look it up. I am Jay. That's what everybody knows me as for the most part. If not that, it's hey you asshole. And this is my buddy and my co-host, Sean Sandberg. Sean, you were just getting into it, but how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. You know, long shift at work, but you know, just basically happy to be back out and doing my thing. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, you know, the new year can kind of hit us all in different ways, and for me personally, the new year hits me in a big bad way every single year because it's always just a constant reminder of the passage of time and getting older and
the fuckery, your knees not working the same, your fucking back aching when you wake up, fucking shoulder pains. Is this a heart attack?
When did I get Baker's cysts? How did that happen? You know what I mean? It's like all that shit. It's really strange the way time can wind up passing by, and there's an element of pressure on you, you know, especially if you have a high standard for yourself. You can really
if you have a high standard for yourself,
like you can really wind up feeling really bad because like I know for you, Jay, you have a high standard for yourself as well. There
absolutely
has to be elements of, you know, time going by and you not feeling like maybe you're exactly where you want to be, you know, and that
absolutely
that can be hard for absolutely anybody. I mean, I'm starting this off on a really serious sort of dour topic in a way, but yeah, just for me, the new year's been kind of strange. How's the new year been for you, buddy?
The new year has not been great. I've lost several family members in the last like 3 weeks, month, and I've been dealing with that a lot. New job, just new expectations. Trying and like failing, but it's not necessarily a failure because I feel like if you're trying and not succeeding, it's not necessarily a failure. But trying and giving up is when failure starts. Because I want to start my own business. I don't want to fucking work for anybody else, man. I would much rather work for myself any day of the week. That way, the only person who can hold me fucking accountable is myself, and I don't have to tell anybody else to go fuck yourself. I didn't feel like coming into work today. And that's when it starts fucking with my money more when I run my own business than it does if I miss 8 hours worth of work for somebody else. Like there's been a lot fucking going on. I've started streaming again. I had been streaming fucking God of War, Ragnarok. I beat God of War 1, which was on stream, and I really liked it. And I saw an interesting theory about Kratos. Speaking of, just jumping right into just random fucking topics. The more and more he ages and the more like he learns, the lighter the ashes on him get because he's learning to forgive himself. Which was one of those really interesting things when at the end of the first God of War game, he takes the bandages off of his arms and like gives a long solemn look at the like burned imprints of the blades of chaos, and is like, okay, and then turns around and does the whole walk back through Jotunheim.
Yeah, which I mean, and maybe even to somebody like we're into the spoiler element of God of War 2018, so screw it. I'm just gonna say it. Even if you think about the dichotomy of him losing his family in the original trilogy compared to him losing Faye in the first game of the second trilogy of games or second series of games.
Yeah.
The first time they're clung to his body. The second time he actually gets to let go.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
just it's funny because as much as I hear people talk about that game, I never hear them talk about that little element of it where it's like it's the spreading of ashes. Like, why? I don't know. Do you ever find that there's something in gaming or in storytelling in general where you just feel like it's so obvious to you, but it just doesn't seem like anybody else seems to talk about it, or maybe it's just too obvious. And maybe
I don't know if it's too obvious. I think my thing about it is a lot of people are looking for the larger overall or overarching thing in that specific story, which is him trying to help Atreus and him and Atreus saying goodbye to, you know, his wife and, you know, the mother of his child and, you know, Atreus's mom. And people are looking for like a big answer there and they're not getting that answer. So maybe some people are disappointed. Like, I know that game won a fucking bajillion awards. It was like one of the highest rated video games of all time. But I do see a lot of people sitting here and like kind of talking down about the end of the game and how it's kind of a letdown, where like the rest of the game is great. Like, it's flawless. It's got good action. You know, it's got some interesting side quests, and it does. Don't get me wrong. It's got some fucking great side quests. But I think a lot of people are more interested in the here and now and not the I was too young or I just never picked up the PlayStation games or the PlayStation 2 games for God of War, so I wasn't interested. Because I know a lot of gamers who have never played them but have watched other people play them. And it's like, personally, to me, that is not the same thing. Like, I can't watch somebody play a video game because I want to play that video game, and I'm kind of a control freak, and I need to be able to be like, no, I need to go over here. I need to explore this dark corner. It's one of the reasons why the newest game that I'm fucking playing, I'm having a giant fucking problem with.
Oh.
Because there isn't shit to explore.
Yeah.
It's like literally a linear story. You need to get from point A to point B. There are several ways you can go about it. You can shoot shit. You can do a stealthy thing. You don't have to technically interact with everybody. And you only have like 12 bullets.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can just pull the pin on that one. Since the TV show has come out, and we can talk about what we think of the TV show in a minute.
Absolutely.
The TV show has come out. I've gone back and I've played The Last of Us Part 1. I've played Uncharted 4, and then I beat The Lost Legacy, which, strangely enough, actually might be my favorite Uncharted game. I love The Lost Legacy. But in those games, there is that illusion.
Is that the one with the chick?
Yeah, with Nadine.
Okay.
And, Chloe.
Okay.
Chloe's the main character in Lost Legacy. But yeah, there is always the sort of illusion of exploration. And I was thinking about that while playing Uncharted 4 specifically. I'm like, I should really feel like in a lot of different ways, I'm on an adventure. Yes, I do feel like that, but I don't feel like I'm exploring Nathan Drake. I feel like there's a lot of treasures that I need to collect if I want an achievement, but that doesn't feel like exploring the world a whole lot of the time. One of the best things they did was the journal entries, actually, that you can kind of find as you're going.
Yeah.
Does feel like you're actually discovering things and the expansion of the story and whatnot. And some of those ones are like amazing to read. But yeah,
I think one of my favorite games to do exploration right while continuing a linear storyline. And I have like a couple examples, but one of them does actually come from the Uncharted series.
Okay.
And it's Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. I think that it does it really well. Plus I've always kind of just been incredibly interested about like the whole Marco Polo journey and what happened to him and like what he says on his deathbed, like, oh, hey, you wouldn't believe half of the things that I didn't write down. You barely believe the shit that I wrote down in my journal anyways. Like, shit like that has been interesting as fuck to me. But I also think that like the newer Tomb Raider games do a really good job at creating like not necessarily like a sandboxy world, but it gives you the illusion of it being an open world without it actually being an open world. And it just creates this air of mystery because there are a lot of things to do. And I get it, you know, this was 2011, so 2014, 2011, 2014, 2014. So it was like 2 years
One
before
of
the first. It's one of them fucking two. We'll have Jamie look that up or some shit.
Yeah.
Later. But yeah, Jamie, can you pull that up? Fuck. Okay. The Last of Us.
Oh, The Last of Us 2013 was when it came out.
2013? I thought it was 2014.
Was when it came out, 100%. Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
you were talking about the Tomb Raider game. But yeah, it was 2013 when The Last of Us came out. It was
No, I'm pretty sure the first Tomb Raider game came out in 2015 or 2016.
Something like that.
Something like that. But you know what? Speaking of games being made by Naughty Dog right now, I haven't even got like I just got to the spot where like we meet the first clicker.
Oh, okay.
Like the one that's attached to the door. Yeah. So like, and it's been almost a decade since I played the game, so I don't remember a whole lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember how pissed off I was at the ending of it.
Yeah.
I also made a fucking tweet, spoilers alert, for a fucking game that's... When did The Last of Us 2 come out? Like 3 years ago now?
Yeah, it came out in 2020.
Okay. We all know what ends up happening in that game. I think
let's
that
definitely keep that under wraps just in case, like...
I wasn't going to say anything about that.
Okay.
What I was going to say is it's incredibly sadistic to cast Pedro Pascal in a role.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about that the other day. I could not agree with you more.
I was like, if they're going to do a number 2, this is so fucked up. And obviously, context clues, y'all can read between the lines. We're not going to say it, though, so...
Yeah. God, I hope that... Because there is some moments where, like, if you listen to Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann talk about The Last of Us on the podcast with Troy Baker, there are moments where Neil Druckmann, when Craig Mazin says to him, like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would we do that? You know, or like some of the other showrunners. And I just really hope that if they are going to tell that story, that they're going to do it in a different way than they did it, because
it would make a lot of sense to me.
It would make a lot of sense, and it could arguably make the entire thing better. I'm really, like, I can't say too much about it just because the show's going on, and just on the off chance someone who hasn't played the games does see this and hears about what we're talking about. I don't want to spoil that for anybody.
Absolutely. That's something that you need to experience yourself.
Yeah. And it's something that you have to come to your own conclusions about as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this without spoiling anything. I desperately hope they change the ending of The Last of Us 2. I desperately hope they do that. And with no context for it or anything like that. I just hope they do, because it's just such a... I just hope they keep the hat on the dinosaur. Yeah. Like the first one's really morally ambiguous, because you're like, well, fuck, man, I can understand what happened and why it happened and whatnot, and you can kind of come to your own conclusions. By the end of the second one, you're just like, geez.
The end of the first game isn't morally ambiguous, and it's why I fucking have such a large problem with the game. It's why I have such a large problem with the game, because it gives you this false fucking, like, oh, you can choose to do X or you can choose to do Y, but if you choose to do Y, you're literally forced into choosing option X.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't get, it's emotional manipulation. You are supposed to do this thing. Yeah, you choose to do this thing, and you aren't allowed to do this thing. Then why are you giving me a choice to do this thing?
Well, I mean, it's like killing the dogs in the second game.
It's like killing the little sisters. Like, to tell you the truth, let's leave the second one out of this, because I still haven't fucking like done a lot in the second one, so I'm trying to save myself from spoilers for it. Yeah, but it's like killing the little sisters in BioShock. Yeah, you can either save them or not.
I will be very surprised by the time that you're done The Last of Us Part 2 if you don't feel like there was some seriously gross emotional manipulation in it. Because I was talking to a friend of mine about this like a while ago. every film, I guess, if you want to view it in a certain lens, is designed to emotionally manipulate you in a way that's supposed to design. It's designed to
Yeah.
get you to feel things for these characters in a way. But I don't think that good storytelling is necessarily manipulation. I think
No.
that good storytelling should have you involved with people. It's not
Good storytelling should make you think about things, but not necessarily manipulate you into doing certain things.
Yeah. And so with that, by the time you're done,
It's the difference between the Bible and Mein Kampf.
Wait, did someone say that?
I've read that in comment sections about games and movies that do shit like this, and I'm just like, yo, you need to have a talk with your children.
I
speaking,
just very surprised if by the end of that game you don't feel as though you're like, man, I just feel like I felt used personally.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised if you don't feel similar to that by the end of that experience. But anyways,
I can see it. I can see it. It's also not really like, it's not my game. Like it's kind of like a cover shooter meets like a lot of different shit. Like it's very reminiscent of like early Metal Gear Solid games to me.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I loved which one?
The Last of Us. I'm just gonna say it right here, by the way. The fucking combat mechanics in that game are trash.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Trash.
Like there was that one section where it's dark outside and they're trying to sneak past everybody. You got that one dude up top, and it's like, I'm not wasting any of the 17 bullets that I got, because for some reason the aiming mechanic in that fucking game is also
terrible.
Just booty cheeks, by the way.
How, like, and not just that, but it's like you can shoot a human being in that game in the fucking head, and they'll just go like, huh? Or they'll just instantaneously, the second you're about to shoot, just kind of move their head like that, and you're just like, it's not
do the liquid metal thing, split their face right down the middle and shit.
There's nothing enjoyable about that.
No, absolutely not. Like, and I'm kind of well versed in playing a stealthish kind of character, because like in Skyrim, the first time I played Skyrim, I played a stealth archer. Everybody knows that's like the build to go with, because when you're in stealth and you shoot somebody with an arrow, you get like 150,000 times crit headshot damage. But I literally shot this dude in the face while he was wearing a helmet. His helmet is up here. His face is right here. I shot him right here.
Yeah.
And his helmet fell off.
Yeah, I know.
You tell me in what fucking world that makes any sense.
No, I know. And it's similar to like, oh my God, like the fact that this world feels so lived in and so real. And it's like, I can shoot someone in the fucking face. And
my question to those people is, are you high? What about this makes you feel like this world is lived in? Like, you're literally like, the first portion of the game is you walking through a bombed out Boston. There's nobody around other than fucking bad guys. And those bad guys are like coming in batches of 4, like 4 to 6. And they don't live there. They're just there. Everything else is abandoned. What about that is lived into you? Like, you're crawling through bombed fucking craters and shit in Boston. Like, nothing about that is lived in, my guy.
The only game that, to me, that I've played that truly feels like lived in is Red Dead Redemption 2.
You know what? I'm gonna give you older one. The first Infamous game.
Okay, you know what? I can see where you're coming from.
Like the first Infamous game had like, and honestly, it's gonna sound weird because there are 2 Grand Theft Auto games that truly feel lived in for me.
GTA 5 feels pretty lived in.
I don't like 5. I don't like Trevor. Like,
I hate Trevor, but
I like Michael. And
Franklin.
Franklin, thank you. I was like, you got that yee ass haircut. I could not remember his name to save my life, but I loved San Andreas. San Andreas feels like the realest, just most fucking like comfortable game ever. Because you can just do normal ass dude shit. You can go to the gym, you can work out, you can swim, you can eat food, you can diet, you can change your haircut. you can just go say what up to the homies.
You can be skinny.
All you got to do is follow the damn train, CJ. All you had to do was follow the damn train.
Yeah.
Fuck you, you fat motherfucker. And that's coming from a fat motherfucker. Fuck you. Welcome to the one show that is not sponsored by Ray Shadow Legends. Yeah. Also, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Vice City. Vice City feels incredibly lived in, but I don't see what it is that people are like. I know we're ranting about this right now. Red Dead Redemption, both of them actually seem really like they have like background characters that are doing things and they do shit, and it's incredibly cool. Like, I think a story that I heard, and I'll see if I can't pull it up here in a second, was I think the most quote unquote lived in game of all time is Elder Scrolls Oblivion, because every NPC is set on a clock to do a certain thing at any given time. Depending on where you are, depending on what time it is for you and what time it is in game, NPCs are doing things. And it caused overclocking problems when the game was first being installed on systems.
See, for me, when I say like lived in, it's not just the fact that there are NPCs and whatnot.
Right.
There is wildlife that's out there all around you constantly. There are just different encounters that can wind up happening that you maybe you've played the game like 10 times. And this happened to me on my most recent playthrough. And I've played that game like start to finish, like I don't even know how many times at this point. And I still found shit that I didn't even know about. And just out of pure happenstance. It was kind of remarkable, actually. But to me,
did you kill the Sam Squanch?
Oh no, not in the first one.
No, you didn't kill the Sam Squanch?
Oh, man, he eats berries.
Yeah, like why would you kill Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, bro? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's a big kitty.
Yeah. He eats berries. He doesn't eat babies. You eat babies. Everybody knows that.
Speaking, so we've been talking about The Last of Us for a little bit now. Obviously, we got to talk about the show. Yeah. What were your thoughts on like The Last of Us episodes 1 and 2?
I liked 2 more than I liked 1.
Really?
I did. Not by much. Like, right. It was like the tiniest bit. I think it was just the fact that like I was white knuckling it, even though I had played
the game. Yeah, you know what's gonna happen.
Like I know what's gonna happen, but like just the way like every time the clickers were around, it was like fuck, and it felt like a bullet could come from fucking anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah,
absolutely anywhere. But with episode 1, just to kind of talk about that a little bit because it's probably the place we should start.
At the beginning, that's usually where people start.
It's usually
unless you're a pretentious director like Christopher Nolan, and then sometimes you start in the middle of a movie, or sometimes you're Guy Ritchie and you do the exact same thing. And
or you're Nazario's dad, and you make him watch like the third movie in a trilogy before watching the first one or whatever. You know, it can happen to people.
Shout out to Nazario. Shout out to Nazario's dad. This is why he loves Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, as far as episode 1 went, it hit the same beats as the video game.
Absolutely.
Which, we were all really hoping it would. But for me, the added time with Sarah at the beginning, and this is something people have gone over, a million times at this point. The added time with Sarah was really, really enjoyable for me because it also gave me some insight into her and Joel's relationship a little bit more than what we got. Don't get me wrong, it didn't take much for us to understand that relationship.
Absolutely not.
In the game. But just the fact that we got a little bit more of that, I really loved it. And
we got it, and we got a lot of the same dialogue.
Yeah, we did.
But it didn't seem blocky.
Yeah.
Like sometimes in the game it can seem a little clunky, and it just seems like people are sitting in a voiceover booth and just reading lines. But when you have, Pedro Pascal, and I'm so sorry I cannot remember her name. It's not like she's going to be in the show for a long time or anything. Oh, I just made myself sad.
You talking about his daughter?
Yes.
You talking about Tandy Newton's daughter? What's her name?
Tandy Way Newton's daughter?
Yeah, Tandy Way Newton's daughter. What the fuck's her name? I literally was just looking at an interview with her.
I'm like looking it up right now. Oh, are you as well?
Nico Parker.
I was like, it's Nico Parker.
Nico Parker. She was great in it. I mean, she wasn't in it for very long, but she did a really great job, and she was perfect as Sarah. And I will say this about the first episode:
I saw drugs.
2 seconds for me to take a look at Pedro Pascal, and I was like,
that's
Joel Miller. Fuck.
That's 100% Joel right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's Joel Miller. And then the scene I was really nervous about, and
that's Jason Bourne.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. The scene I was really nervous about, I think, was the scene that everybody was really nervous about, because the first time I ever played the game, I was in college, and I hadn't owned a game console in years, and my dear friend Nathan was like, "Have you played The Last of Us?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." He goes, "It's better than any movie," and I'm like, I doubt that considerably, but it's guaranteed it's not better than any movie, but I'll give it a shot.
You're like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna play this game.
I'll play it, and I played through the first 20 minutes of that game, and I remember by the time it was done, I was just like, I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah,
and so with that, the amount of investment that you have in that character from that point onward, you're like, how are they gonna recreate that?
And they did a fucking great job, dude. Oh my god, bro! It took them. They did not rush that, by the way. It took them almost 40 minutes into the hour and a half long episode to get to that point.
I do wish, though, there is one line that Troy Baker says in that monologue that he has when Sarah's dying, and it's "Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me."
Yeah, that one hurts, bro.
I wanted Pedro Pascal to say that, and then there's the moment where he goes, "Sarah," and it's just you just feel the fucking heartbreak.
Yeah, it rips your heart out of your chest.
100%.
But you know what? I think that in that first 40 minutes, I'm going to go back to the very beginning, because that interview in the 1960s where they have John Hannah and fucking Spaghetti from fucking Silicon Valley. He's like, what do we need? The average body temperature was 94 degrees. They can't survive in that. What happens if the fucking temperature raises 2 fucking degrees? You can sit here and say that it's woke bullshit propaganda all you want, because not you. I'm just saying people have said that. It's just a warning about climate change. I'm like, just about everything's a fucking warning about climate change, my guy. What? At this point in time, what is it a warning about climate change? But they do such a good job in that 3 minutes of that old ass fucking interview with the guy who knows not to fuck with things from beyond the grave, John fucking Hannah.
Yeah.
Evie Carnahan's brother, Jonathan fucking Carnahan, sitting here and being like, "Hey, don't fucking push your luck, my guy, because it's not gonna fucking work out for you." No. Where do you get acid from? Where do you get LSD from? Where do you get LSD from? One of my favorite lines in the entire show, in the entire first episode.
And I loved the fact that the way he said it was just like, "Yes, that's true. Fungal infections of that nature and not able to survive in a host body above 94 degrees. But let's say, for instance, the world were to get slightly warmer." And it's just you can tell it is addressing the audience, us, the audience.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a meta moment where you're just fucking think about this for 2 seconds, would you?
It's also perfect that he's right in front of a live studio audience as he's saying that. It is 100% so friggin' good. And you're sitting back just going well, that's horrifying. And then you think about the fact that the world's gone up in temperature and whatnot.
That is absolutely terrifying. We are reaching that point where 2.5 degrees Celsius is one of those things that that's the point we're reaching, and what are we going to see happen? Exactly. The Earth is an organism in of itself. What can we see happen? The Earth will try to defend itself. Human bodies do it all the time with infections. Yeah. We send fucking white blood cells after everything in our body that we don't understand. What's to say that yeah, it's not a sentient being, but what's to say that like the planet wouldn't do the same thing?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah. Which also, I do love the fact that they did change Joel's motivation for going out from the games. Him wanting to leave the QZ wasn't because
yeah,
of the guns and the shipment, which did make Joel seem fairly
selfish.
selfish in the original games.
Yeah,
Instead, it's like he desperately wants to find Tommy.
yeah, he wants to get back to. Honestly,
I love that.
Gabriel Luna does a fucking great job as Tommy. Like,
He
even in the
does.
little bit that
A
you see
little-
that fucking cat, bro. Like, okay, cool. I love how he calls and he's like, Joel, I'm in jail. And like, there's a reason why he's in jail instead of it just being like, Joel, I'm in jail.
Yeah, so like, this guy went crazy in the bar. And then you realize that it was like this dude was infected that tried to fight the bartender.
Absolutely. And he punched an infected dude in the face.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm here for it. You give me a lovable character, even a character who might be gruff on the outside, but you give me a character who has the right fucking moral standings. I'm here for it, dog. I will fucking fight for you any day of the week.
Yeah, and that's one thing about Tommy, that even from the games, you know, he was a searcher at the end of the day. Like Joel was a hunter and a gun runner, and he was admittedly not a great dude, but Tommy was constantly looking for not just joining the Fireflies and trying to make sure that people could live their lives even in the worst situation imaginable, but then him moving on to Jackson, which, by the way, spoilers for anybody that has not played the games, but that's that's not a massive one.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess if you're thinking Tommy died or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's in 7 episodes of the series. Let's chill the fuck out on that.
For real. I think one of my favorite things is like commodities that we take for granted nowadays. Mm-hmm. Especially like the pill scene where he is trading with the army guardsmen. Yeah, the Fedra guard. And he's like, where'd you get it? I don't know. I just know it's real. Where'd your guy get it from? Atlanta. Well, they only make 2 things in Atlanta, pills and bullets. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, oh, you're 5 short. And he hands him 5 fucking cigarettes, dog. Like, bro. And then he pays the fucking radio DJ the 5 fucking cigarettes. And that dude's just like, let me go ahead and light this bitch up real fucking fast. And I'm just like, dog, how many people would lose their shit if they couldn't get access to fucking nicotine?
Yeah, straight
up. My other question is I don't know if this is the case, but you know how many fucking yeehaw redneck motherfuckers there are in the United States of America, right? Oh, yeah. You understand this, and a lot of them.
Oh, I lived there. Believe me.
I mean, I know. Like I lived in the South for a little bit. I know there are some yee motherfuckers down there, but at the exact same point in time, how many of them are actually going to be able to do something? How many of them would be cats who would hide their fucking bite marks from somebody else?
Yeah,
like. You can say that you have militias and that you have all these posses and all this bullshit, but what happens once you start getting infected and you don't tell nobody and you don't do the right thing by taking yourself out? You take out your entire family. Cool. Now you have like the Hills Have Eyes and Appalachia, like cannibals happening.
Wouldn't it be fucking hilarious though if just like they're bunkered down and like the first days of the fucking pandemic, it's like, I bet none of these liberal fucking commies got cookies where they are.
I got me some Oreos. Hey, Jim Bob, what's that? Nothing. Don't worry about it,
motherfucker.
Why you worried about me? I got free health care now, son. Don't worry about my copay. No, that's not a bite mark. No, that's a birthmark.
Well, you heard the theory that people have now as to why Joel and Ellie didn't, or not Joel and Ellie, why Joel and Sarah and Tommy didn't wind up getting infected, right?
Was it because they didn't live in the big cities?
So, okay.
Because that was like a throwaway line that I picked up on.
Here's a throwaway line from the second episode. It's at the beginning of the second episode. And for anybody that's seen the second episode, it begins with police in Indonesia taking in a mycologist to take a look at the cordyceps infection underneath the
the lady in Indonesia?
Yeah. So she asks, hey, where
I'm still here.
Yeah. She goes, where was this woman bit? And they just go,
oh yeah, canning factory.
No, it was in a flour factory. It's like flour and shit. So anything you could basically, and she goes, oh, that would be a perfect breeding ground for things like that.
Oh yeah. Well, so like that raises questions for like
Joel doesn't eat cake in the first episode. Joel avoids the biscuits. Joel avoids fucking all the shit that has flour in it.
Joel is keto.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm saying, like, wouldn't it be hilarious if it's just like in the first days of the friggin' outbreak, there's just a bunch of redneck dudes going like, thank God we got some motherfucking flapjacks. I bet these fucking neoliberal commies ain't got that shit where they are, or some shit. And
you think them liberal cucks know about shit on a shangle? You think they know anything about sausage and gravy for breakfast every morning?
Goddamn biscuit, why don't you? And all of a sudden, all of them turn. That'd be
so fun. So that actually raises a good point that I kind of want to bring up. So you remember, like, there was that story of that town in medieval Europe that suffered the dancing plague.
No.
Yeah. So there was a town in medieval Europe. I'm gonna look it up right now, just so I have the actual name. But it was this town that was suffering from. It happened in 1518, and it happened in Strasbourg. It happened in Alsace. So it happened in France. And these people got infected with something, and
I'm still here, by the way.
You're good. You're good. And it kind of drove townsfolk to do wild and crazy things. And these wild and crazy things that these townfolk were doing was essentially they ended up writhing on, like, while standing up. They essentially were dancing, and nobody could explain why. But they had a great, somewhere between 50 and 400 people took to dancing for weeks. And a lot of people didn't understand why. And then, like, the most prevalent idea as to why this happened was due to ergot rot.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, that just adds to the fucking, like, whole thought process behind what the doctor was saying at the beginning of the first episode, and it lends a little bit of credence to that fucking theory that you were just talking about yourself. So I'm like, okay. I mean, and it makes sense, dude. What is it? That fucking so, like, I'm still on commie TikTok, not the commie side of TikTok, but the fact that, like, TikTok is full of commies apparently. But, like, there's a giant fucking, like, ever since the show started, like, airing, they're replaying the Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson segment, and he's like, the crazy thing about, like, fungi and humans is that fungi split from green-leaved plants far before it's split between humans and fungi. Everything on the fucking planet has fungus in it, essentially. Like, everything comes from something that's older. We all go back, and, like, the oldest shit out there is fungus, but fungus has then since transformed away from green leaves, and has less, what's the way to put it? Like, less of a history between humanity and fungi than fungi and green leaves, like green leaf plants and, like, fauna and flora like that. Not fauna. It's just really weird. It's one of those really cool things to think about, because, like, honestly, I love Paul Stamets. I follow Paul Stamets. As a matter of fact, here's a little humble brag for myself. Paul Stamets follows me on Instagram. He's a Washington boy. I'm a Washington boy, and I think that's one of the main reasons why. But he is, like, my number one favorite mycologist. If you ask me to name another mycologist, I can't. I would probably say Paul Stamets' wife, whose name I believe is Trina. But listening to him, I listen to a lot of really weird shit. But Paul Stamets talking about fungi is an incredibly weird thing. And the fact that, like, 3 days before the show dropped, I didn't even realize when the show was dropping. I didn't realize until, like, 2 days after it dropped that it dropped, and I was like, oh, hey, I guess I'll watch it. But I was listening to a fucking lecture that Paul Stamets was doing about, like, one of the largest fungal growths in the Pacific Northwest, and the fact that like it's 2,000 miles apparently, like it's gigantic in fucking size.
Shit.
And it is Lovecraftian in nature essentially.
Oh wow.
Like how astronomically large these things can be when it comes to living organisms. There's nothing that can compete with a fungus. There's nothing that can compete with a fungi. They have everything beat, and easily. The aptitude in which like fungi do certain things, like everybody knows the Japanese railway system fungi test.
I didn't actually.
So
for anybody that doesn't, I guess explain.
Oh yeah. Well, no, absolutely. Basis, like really quick breakdown of it. Essentially, what they did was scientists in Japan created a mold that was not like an MOULD, not an MOLD.
Yeah.
Like of like their current railway system, and linked all of the major railway transportation, like all of the major fucking like train stations together as like little pieces of food, and then let mold grow on this as a culture. And the cultures found the quickest way to get to the food in like straight lines, essentially, not like straight lines, but in like the fastest ways. And then the Japanese scientists used that to route their high-speed rail systems to create more efficient routes for their trains.
Oh, that's insane.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's like it's real fucking weird. Like we've gone off on a couple of fucking tangents. There's definitely one big thing that we haven't talked about, and it's episode 2.
Episode 2, yeah.
We talked a little bit about episode 2, but like just overall thoughts on episode 2.
Anna Torv is a fucking beast, dude. For me, like. I've really enjoyed watching Bella Ramsey, and I've really, really enjoyed watching Pedro Pascal. But just knowing that I wasn't going to get very much of Anna Torv as Tess.
That's Tess, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay. He
was so fucking good, man. Oh my god. Like the amount of times, like, and she just nailed it from like the get-go in episode 1. I was like, oh shit, she really understands.
So
her level of understanding of that.
I'm tripping. Because it's the chick who plays Marlene, who is the chick who played Marlene in the video game, right?
I think so. Actually. Okay. I think so. Yeah, no, because
Anna Torv was not involved in the original.
No, she was on. She was on Fringe and a whole bunch of other.
That show with the guy who ate the tomato in Return of the King.
Yes,
John Noble.
Yeah, and she was in that. She was in a show called Mindhunter as well. It was a Netflix show, which
Mindhunter.
It was basically like the first forensic analysis of like psychopaths.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
okay.
It's a team of FBI agents that do like the first real kind of like analysis into the mentality of psychopaths, and so you see like serial killers specifically.
Speaking of serial killers and getting in the minds of psychopaths, I would just like to give a shout out to the Doritos Locos Taco, which has now lasted longer than the Confederacy. Thank you very much for your service. I appreciate you. The Doritos Locos Taco definitely deserves a flag more than them shitbags. Fuck them. Please continue on with Anna Torv. Sorry. It crossed my mind. It was about TikTok earlier today, but anyway, I saw it and I was like,
Anna Torv was the shit in episode 2. She was fucking great. She was her and the Clickers.
I couldn't tell she was Australian.
She does a wicked American accent.
Yeah, she's got a great accent coach. She's got a great linguistical coach. You know who didn't?
Weird thing. I don't know why. I know her voice is a little bit on the lower side, but like she got a sexy voice, man. Like
I don't hate it. But if I'm gonna go for a chick with a lower voice, I give me a Gina Torres.
Okay, fair enough on that.
Like,
yeah, I got to go with an Anna Torv on that one. It's very,
Give me a Gina Torres, and I don't find this woman attractive whatsoever. But Kristen Stewart has a very attractive voice.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't like her as I don't like her as an actress in a lot of things, and I haven't seen her in a lot of things. She's great outside of acting. Like well, with the exception of like her being a cheater and shit, and we don't fucking talk about that. But Hollywood for you. But outside of that, yes. No, like I get it. It was just like there are certain things where you watch people like I'm kind of scrutinizing Bella Ramsey a little bit, and it's not like trying to. She's a British actress. She just like there are certain ways that she will pronounce words, and I'm like, are you pronouncing this correctly? Like I'm just like I'm not doing it to be like, oh, see, fucking British people can't do American accents or American people can't do British accents. It's just like these are things that I notice. It's like the guy who plays Sookie Stackhouse's the guy who plays fucking Sookie's brother in True Blood.
Yeah.
Did a movie with Peter Dinklage and Steve Zahn called Knights of Badassdom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Shot in Spokane, Washington, by the way. I used to live about 20 minutes away from where that movie was shot. But like there's this line that he has in this movie, and he's like, he was our friend. And I'm just like, he hits the he was American, the our in like Australian because he's an Australian. Like he adds the Australian accent to that word, just that word specifically. Everything else is great, but like that one detaches me from the moment in the movie, and I'm just like, oh, but she's killing it. Spoilers, kind of spoilers.
We could go into you know what? What's your opinion on what the worst accents of all time are? Because I know what my number one is, but anyways,
like yeah. Oh, we'll definitely get to that. But I also want to know what you mean by worst accents of all time.
Like just someone who completely bastardizes an accent to the point where you're just like, it's entertaining, but at the exact same time, you just know for a fact you're like, this is the worst attempt at an accent I've ever heard in my life.
I think both of the picks that come to my mind right now are satirical in nature, so I don't know if they would technically count.
Okay.
Jean Reno in 1998's Godzilla, when he plays the Frenchman who is pretending to be an American, he's like, I John Wayne. And then
the movies.
It's hilarious that honestly I bring up Jean Reno because Jean Reno is a part of the other fucking movie, and this one is purely satirical, so it's like take with it what you will. But Steve Martin as Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther movies is like you're making a mockery at this point in time. It's not even satirical; it's a mockery.
I mean, I guess Peter Sellers also. It's not a great one, but once again, it's a satire. Mine's from Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Ooh, okay.
It's Crispin Glover trying to do a Boston accent. Holy shit, man!
No. Okay, so you're bringing the Boston accent up. No, are we not going to talk about Bumbershoot Cumbersnitch in Black Mass?
That one's not great, but I mean, it's better in spots than this one. This one, it's just like you will sit back and you're just like, who fucking okayed this? Because it's supposed to be this really like white knuckle episode of this show, and all you can think of is just like, what fucking person okayed this accent? Because you will be pissing yourself laughing at times with some of his deliveries. But anyway, episode 2,
yes,
episode 2, between the clickers, Anna Torv's performance, the continuing building relationship between Joel and Ellie, what little we did get, it's the starting point for it, and I really loved seeing that. Plus, the way that the world looks in the second episode is like the very best parts of the game, basically.
Yeah.
And the fact that they wound up bringing that to like live action is fucking remarkable.
I think
they nailed it so hard.
I don't
actually directed this episode.
I don't
and he did
purely know what the budget for the show is or the breakdown budget per episode. But there was well, no, definitely. But like one thing that came to mind was Like we see a lot of movies, like post-apocalyptic movies, where reclamation happens, where like the wilds start taking back, grass starts growing through concrete, and grasslands form in the middle of giant cities the way that it used to be back in the day. Like the biggest one that comes to mind is, like, for me, I Am Legend, Will Smith in fucking New York City.
Yeah.
And that man is not going around and mowing everything, but it's been like, granted, it's been a shorter period of time, because it's been 20-ish years in the realm of The Last of Us, and it's only been like 7 years or 10 years in
I Am
Omega Man, Omega Man, the original, by the way. But they do a really good job at like showing. I think they used models, because this was one thing that really interested me, was what it would actually look like if the lands that used to be there took back over without city maintenance being there. How would things look? And they do such a good job at that. And maybe it's just a pointing out of things like, oh, hey, things aren't going so well in the cities. That's why none of the animals are returning. That's why you don't have any of the fucking deer. You don't have any of the rabbits. You don't have any fucking birds in the city. But it could also be that, like, birds and shit eat fucking crackers. What are crackers made from? Wheat.
Yeah.
Like, it brings another layer into it, bro. That means The Last of Us is Shrek, because it has layers.
Speaking of another layer,
yeah,
to The Last of Us, we know that in the games, the things that infect people are spores.
Yeah.
It's not the same way in the TV show, and I'm personally okay with that. But they've actually made something so much scarier in the show than what was in the games with the mycelia.
Yeah, with the little tentacles.
The fucking wires that stretch
across
a mile. It's just like, I didn't think that clickers and infected from that game could get any freakier, to be honest with you. I was just,
and then they kind of did.
I was like, that's pretty much tapped out. And then they found another way. And the only way they did it was through research.
Yeah.
Because that's another real thing within the ecosystem involving fungus. You're just like, holy shit. You're like, how you can take so many terrifying elements from a fucking baby Bella mushroom, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
I love that. It's so creative and it's so great. What for you is the standout moment from episode 2?
The final scene.
Yeah.
The final scene, I think, is the easiest one. But I think the most poignant episode is Bomb the City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But take me back to my family. I want to be with my family, but bomb this city.
Yeah.
Because we don't know. Like, that's somebody who does their job.
Yeah.
That's somebody who is incredibly freaked out by what they've seen when they go into the jaws of a dead person and just pull it out and it still fucking moves. It becomes independent of the larger piece of the host that it's living in.
Yeah.
Creepy. Like, they do a really great job with that. I wasn't white knuckled through everything, but I think that they did a lot better. They did a lot better than I thought they were going to do. And that's weird, because a lot of recent shows about things that aren't necessarily like IP, like original properties, have not been that great.
No.
Like, I was a little bummed by the Wheel of Time series. I liked Rings of Power more than most people did, but neither one of them are great. This show is doing something that gives me hope for, like, video game shit going forward. And it's creating a great, like, visual medium for something that doesn't necessarily, like, for something that has a linear storyline. Like, it's a lot easier to create a movie or anything around a visual type game like this, where there are a lot of cutscenes and a lot of them look like movies.
Yeah.
It's really easy, because, like, all you technically have to do is hit shit beat for beat and you'll be fine. You don't even have to hit it the same way. You just have to hit it beat for beat. And as long as it's got the same outline, people will fucking follow it.
But the funniest thing about that is that Sony wound up fucking completely blowing that even last year. There is zero reason why the Uncharted movie should have sucked the way that it did.
I don't think they cast that movie correctly.
Well, they didn't cast it correctly. They didn't write it correctly.
No.
They did nothing with that film that actually made sense. The way that what The Last of Us is doing.
So Nathan Drake is like 6'2". Tom Holland is 5'4".
Yeah, like, well, not just that. Nathan Drake is 6'2". He does not sound like Tom Holland. He does not. He looks nothing like.
You know who he sounds like? He sounds like Nathan Fillion.
You know, he looks like
Nathan Fillion. You know what he looks like now? Nathan Fillion from The Rookie, like season 1. Like, bro, like, I get it. He's old, but he did the fan spot like fucking 4 years ago. And still perfect.
Fucking
like, we can obviously argue and we can piss and moan about it all we want, but I don't think that was ever going to be a great movie to begin with, because
the problem was all you had to do was follow the games.
Yeah.
Like,
but this is what happens when 60-year-old men who don't play video games try to make video game movies. It's the exact same thing that happens when fucking 70-year-old politicians try to think what 30-year-olds or 20-year-olds want. It doesn't work because you're old as fuck and you don't know what you're talking about anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get you on that. I mean, I think it was Ruben Fleischer though who wound up doing the Uncharted movie, and just to see somebody that was like,
instead of doing Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, he decided to do that piece of shit.
Yeah,
he traded one piece of shit for another piece of shit. Great.
And just the fact that people thought like, oh, well, Mark Wahlberg's aged out of the Nathan Drake role. It's like he never should have been in contention for the Nathan Drake role to begin with.
Absolutely not.
You need someone so much more charming. Even like I talked about it earlier. I don't
need a Southie.
I went through Uncharted 4 again, and Nolan North's performance is so fucking charming in that game.
Oh yeah,
he's so clever. He's so great at what he does. And the problem that the movie really didn't wind up getting was that after the first game, it really does become this kind of thing where Nathan Drake is clearly an addict.
Oh yeah.
He's not like, it's not just that, oh, there's another adventure to go on. It's like, no, he has a problem. He has a deep-rooted problem. And by the time you get to game number 4, which, by the way, they spoiled a fucking surprise from game number 4, which is that Nathan Drake has a brother named Sam Drake. And, you know, the whole reason he started treasure hunting was because of him. Yeah. And he's been in this jail for fucking 15 years and he thought he was dead. And the reason he doesn't bring him up to people is just because it's too much of a soft spot for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he constantly goes out in search of the bigger thing, almost to kind of live for Sam. And that's like, you can't just bring that up in the first game or in the first movie.
Yeah.
When that just becomes such a linchpin of a twist in the 4th game. It's like all you had to do was just follow the fucking story. Like, really, those games are designed to be like movies anyways. So there's
absolutely
which, by the way, now I'm going off on a rant, but there is no fucking point to not following the source material on that, because they are designed to be played like movies. Just fucking write the movie like it's the game. Okay, just
that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. It's not that difficult.
No, and it's part of what makes
you obviously did not understand the assignment when you chose to do shit like that.
And even though Cory Barlog's going to be a part of it, it's what makes me really fucking nervous about the God of War TV show.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, because for starters, how in the world are you going to portray that in a similar sort of way to like the feeling that you get playing that game? I think you can say pretty well now because you've played those games. The combat system in those games is something where it feels so visceral and it's so in your own hands, where you don't know how you're going to be able to portray that on screen. I just don't. I have a really
well.
hard.
I think that's one of the like giant reasons why like the Assassin's Creed movie failed. Not that the Assassin's Creed movie was fucking A tier material to begin with. It could have been. They didn't need to do the whole fucking like Mortal Kombat thing and just create a fucking character. You could have just gone to Miles and fucking Altair. Like
Yeah.
that's all you needed to do. I don't need some random fucking cat, bro.
Even
Give me this. Follow the first one. The first one is easy.
Or even if you wanted to skip it and just go to the second one with Ezio.
Yeah, go to Ezio Auditore de Firenze. Like, honestly, the best assassin that we've ever fucking had. Like,
100%.
leave me alone. Leave me alone. Like, fight me on that. Don't, because you'll lose. Not you. Everybody else out there.
But yeah, to me, I don't understand.
So let's fix
A lot of what goes on.
Let's fix Uncharted right now.
Okay.
We can't choose Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake.
Okay.
Who do we cast as Nathan Drake?
It's a tough one. You need someone sort of in that build.
Yeah.
You also need someone who can really handle their shit, like charm-wise. This isn't going to sound weird, but like, I think Bradley Cooper, like 10 years ago, could have done a really fucking good job.
No, I can see it.
I think he could have done a really good job. And weirdly enough, I think Chris Pratt could do a really fucking good job.
Chris Pratt. Some real weird shit going on with that guy right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Nowadays, maybe because he's actually he's still a little too stoic for it. I was gonna say Sam Worthington could be an interesting choice for it nowadays.
Sam, I haven't done anything since the first Avatar movie. Well, that's not true because he did Wrath of the Titans.
Well, no, I mean, no, not even just that. I mean, he did do other things since then. I actually just checked him out in a movie called Drift, and he's actually pretty fucking good in it. It's on Netflix. But no, check him out in Manhunt, the Hunt for the Unabomber. It was a 10-episode series he did with Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany played the Unabomber. And of course, Paul Bettany stole the show. But Sam Worthington, like, he hung in there pretty friggin' well. Like, he got to be a way better actor than he was in shit like Terminator Salvation, the first Avatar movie, where he kind of just always played the same fucking guy. But okay. I think Bradley Cooper, though, like 10 years ago, Bradley Cooper probably would have been my choice. And the thing is, I don't think that that's a stretch to really kind of go off of, because that movie was in development for
forever,
15 fucking years. So
fucking forever. Okay. So hear me out here. Aaron Taylor Johnson, instead of pushing for him to become Bond.
Totally see it.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, if not ATJ, then Theo James.
I could also see that one.
Like, you know, they're both relatively like they're both in their 30s. ATJ is a little closer to 30. Theo's a little closer to 40. But like, you know, if we can have James Vanderbeek playing a 17-year-old at 35 years old, yeah, we do anything else.
Johnson, like, especially in stuff that he's been doing recently, like, you know, whether he's playing the Black Douglas in the one with Chris Pine as Robert the Bruce. What's it called? The King. I think.
Yeah, the red. Is it the? I think so.
No, I mean, there's also another one called The King with Timothy Chalamet as well. Or,
I'm gonna look it up right now.
I don't know. It's he was terrific in that, but like between that and then Bullet Train on top of that.
Bullet Train is the reason why I thought about him, to tell you the truth.
Charisma for it. He's got it. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I would very much be up for seeing that right there. Who do you think should play Sully?
I have 2 in mind.
Okay.
Actually, technically, I have 3 in mind, and 2 of them are brothers. I think that Beau Bridges looks more like Sully than Jeff Bridges does. But I think either one of them would knock it out of the park. And my other one is also just like another foreign cat. I honestly think that Jared Harris would probably fucking kill it. All he needs to do is gain a little bit of fucking weight. Moriarty from the first fucking Sherlock Holmes movie? Absolutely. Or the second Sherlock Holmes movie?
if I could choose anybody, like
Mhm.
absolutely anybody from any time period,
Yeah.
without a doubt, Paul Newman. Like 100%. Paul Newman would have fucking crushed it as Sully.
If I could choose anybody alive or dead from a different era, I still have two.
All right.
Because I think Burgess Meredith would make a fucking amazing.
Pretty cool.
I think in Ned Beatty.
Ned Beatty would be cool.
I think Ned Beatty would do a great job. He's a little bumbly. He's a little oafish as fucking Otis. And you know, he's always in your corner. He's always fighting for you, Rock. Yeah. Fucking Burgess Meredith, I think just he got it like that. I think he got it like that.
Definitely.
One thing that we haven't talked about, and I know is getting a little late for you. I still got a little bit of time in me. I
don't work till 6 p.m. tomorrow. I got all the time
okay.
in the world right now.
I have to hit the head real fast, so you go ahead and entertain everybody. I will be right back.
All right. Yeah, I'm really not good at this. Okay. Basically, I'm going to entertain you guys. I should probably actually have a guitar right now. This is really not going to be good for me. So, I guess since Jay is away, I can say something that he would probably be surprised by, but he's probably not going to hear. I don't think God of War is the best game of 2018. I think that belongs to Red Dead Redemption 2. Actually, I don't know if he would be surprised by that, but anyway. There's a whole lot of dead air. We should definitely edit these things. I think when he comes back, I'll probably ask him what he thinks about Invincible Season 2 and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, for the time being, I'm just going to kind of have to sit and wait. I'm going to have a cigarette.
Oh no, a live show with a little bit of dead air. I'm so sorry about that, guys. To get back to my rant about Raid,
much dead air. The problem for me was I don't have anybody I can kind of bounce off of, even like comments or anything like that, where I could like have a conversation with them.
No, you're good. It's because we went a little late, and usually we have like Garth in here. We usually have fucking somebody. But we do have something that came down, and we both kind of found each other, and we both became friends because of a little show that no longer exists on the internet called the Movie Trivia Schmodown. It brought us all the fuck together. We've created fan leagues, and we still carry the fucking ideals strong. We still continue moving forward with movie trivia, even if that channel doesn't, unfortunately. But one thing that we all like doing is watching movies, and we all know that the Oscar movie list dropped.
Yes.
And I have it in front of me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go through this, and I want to get your opinion on certain things. Because I haven't seen everything, and I don't know what you've
seen. Neither have I. I haven't seen everything. I've been working man / was in a relationship and but chose not to follow things the same way that I did in the past. So I've seen a few movies this year, that are in the contention for, potentially winning Best Picture and whatnot, and have nominations alongside.
I say let's start from the bottom and work our way up.
Okay.
So we have original screenplay.
Yes.
It's the very bottom of the Oscars webpage list, so that's what we are going off of. Our nominees are The Banshees of Inisherin, written by Martin McDonagh. We have Everything Everywhere All at Once, written by the Daniels, Kwan and Scheinert. We have The Fablemans, written by Senior Spielbergo and Tony Kushner. And we have Tar, written by Todd Field. And Triangles of Sadness, written by Ruben Östlund.
Mm-hmm.
Out of these, I've seen 3.
Same for me.
What 3 have you seen?
Let me see. What were the nominations again? I've seen Everything
Banshee,
Everywhere All at Once.
Obviously.
I've seen like half of Tar.
Okay.
And I've seen The Fablemans.
You've seen The Fablemans. See, I've seen The Banshees of Inisherin. I've seen Everything, and I've seen The Fablemans.
Yeah.
I have not seen Triangle of Sadness, unfortunately, so I won't be any help on that one, but it's not my pick to win anyways.
Yeah, I don't think it's anybody's pick to win.
Good on you for being nominated. What I want to win versus what I think will win are not the same thing.
Yeah, me either.
What do you want to win this category?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's because it's the fucking movie that deserves to win. Everything Everywhere All at Once deserves everything, all of the awards at this Oscar right now. I believe wholeheartedly it deserves the W, but I don't think they're going to give it to them. And I think the Banshees of Inisherin is going to end up winning.
I actually agree with you on that one. I think that movie just has a lot of it has a lot of steam. Like everybody's talking about it. Like I only watched it because I wanted to make sure that like I would be able to fucking have a conversation if somebody was like, yo, do I like it as much as I like Everything Everywhere All at Once? Absolutely not. Like, and for a goddamn name like the fucking Banshees of Inisherin, I thought this would be like way more of a fucking like like a Cthulhu-esque movie. But no, it's about dudes who fucking break up. It's about bros who break up. Like, yeah, I assumed it was about that. I didn't think it was about anything sort of
no, just based off of the title of the movie.
Oh yeah, you'd think maybe
not reading a description of the movie.
If it was released in the 80s, it would 100% be.
Absolutely, but like I don't know if we're gonna have a movie that is technically a foreign film, because Banshees of Inisherin is like an Irish movie. If we're gonna have a foreign film win, I would prefer it to be Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I enjoyed that movie more.
Yeah,
just because I know what intergenerational trauma feels like. I understand that. I also like have lost contact and just like suddenly up and stopped talking to friends and just like broken that off as well. So like I know where like both of these movies are coming from to like a basic sense of the degree to a degree, but I think that Everything just has better writing.
I agree. I also think like the writing affords the performances more than the performances affording the writing.
That's fair.
And that can, and don't get me, I'm not saying that about the Banshees of Inisherin because I haven't seen the film and I can't speak to it. But on occasion, you'll wind up seeing films where it's like, oh, that person did a lot with the material that they were given.
Right.
As opposed to like the material that everyone was given in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. Like I've heard the exact same thing with Brendan Fraser. Like I've heard that the movie is not great. The Whale is not that great of a movie, but Fraser's performance elevates, and without it, it probably wouldn't have gotten as many nods as it did. But I'm glad we're in the middle of a renaissance, as people are calling it, because that man deserves all of the fucking love in the world.
He does, honestly.
Like after what the fucking president of the Hollywood Foreign Press did to that man, and then tried to fucking blacklist him. Yeah, no, fuck you, guy.
Oh, also, if I told you Brendan Fraser was Canadian, would you be surprised at all?
No, I absolutely knew it. It's the reason why he was chosen to be Dudley Do-Right.
Well, he's from Indiana, but his parents are Canadian. But the thing is, I always thought to myself, like, he's got a really Canadian kind of vibe to him. And if you're from here, you can kind of
he's got a stereotypical Canadian vibe.
Yeah, where it's just like he just seems like the nicest guy, and he's pretty funny and all this other shit.
Oh god, gosh, shucks, like like it's that Midwest corn-fed fucking like homebrew bullshit that you see down south mixed with like all of the good stereotypes you see from Canadians.
Yeah, it's just like a perfect marriage in that regard.
And I'm here for it.
I think everybody is.
I'm so glad that he got cast in Doom Patrol. And then like that's like kind of what started him back again. Like everybody was like, oh hey, we kind of counted Brennan out. We kind of counted him out as like an actor, and then like he got this, and I love it for him. I do. I'm so happy to see him again.
Me too, man. I think because
he can still be Rick O'Connell. God damn it!
Well, he's still George of the Jungle, for Christ's sake.
Fucking A.
Like, and for people our age, we grew up like in our most formative years.
We didn't have Indiana Jones. We didn't.
No, I mean, well, don't get me wrong. My dad still showed me those movies.
Yeah, but we didn't grow up with Indiana Jones.
No.
We grew up with our superhero, our quote unquote badass, normal, everyday dude being Rick O'Connell.
Which, like, admittedly, like Rick O'Connell is
his goals.
Unbelievably underrated everyman action hero.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like incredibly underappreciated.
Do you swear? Every damn day.
Having rewatched The Mummy now, closer to 30 and everything else. Like rewatching it and kind of going like, I can see where some of the issues with this movie are.
It's got 1999 CGI to say the least, but it's still a good movie. The movie still holds up, bro.
It's still a damn good movie.
The movie still holds up, bro.
It still does. It's got its cheesy.
Don't read from the book.
Yeah, it's still got its cheesy moments, but goddamn if I don't love it. And I'm super up for Brendan Fraser being back. All right, what's our next one?
I'm gonna put this on pause for a second because there was one more video game that I wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about because we ranted about The Last of Us and a lot of that really recently. They two technically, the Switch and Xbox have released or are going to release ports for GoldenEye from the Nintendo 64. So I don't know if you know this or not. This is how I used to settle all of my fucking arguments back in the day. Is we would just jump into a random map on GoldenEye and we would fucking hash out everything. No fucking odd job, no golden guns. But whoever got the most kills at the end of the day, I can't wait for that to come back because that yeah, fuck you. That game's coming back, and that's how I'm solving all my goddamn arguments in 2023. But they just released today, as a matter of fact, well, yesterday now, Dead Space, the remastered edition.
Oh shit!
Just dropped for the PlayStation.
Oh fuck! And is it for PS5 or is it for PS4 as well?
I think it's just for the 5, but I'm a Dead Space
remake.
Dead Space remake, PS4,
PS5, Xbox Series S.
Why isn't Dead Space remake on Xbox or on Xbox One or PS4? So I'm gonna say no. No,
it is not. Which means I'm gonna have to start ponying up for one of those at some point.
Yeah, you have to buy yourself a PS5, my boy.
It's been fucking impossible to get one, man.
They're in stock here. You want to send me the fucking money? I will fucking ship you a PS5, dog. 100%. I will ship you a PS5. I have them at the GameStop. I have them at the Target. I have them at the Walmart.
Fuck, man. Yeah, we can barely get them up here. Like it's still really difficult to find them. So
yeah, I'll definitely if you want, we'll talk about that offline. We'll talk about that offline. But the thing about it is I've been creeped out by The Last of Us. Yeah, like the game is creepy. It is survival horror. But I played Dead Space before I played Last of Us because Dead Space came out before Last of Us, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I'm not afraid of necromorphs in Dead Space. Like it's the fucking it's Rorschach's meme from fucking The Watchmen. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Yeah, as
I'm
opposed
like,
to the last
guns fucking blazing. Let's go. Oh, fuck me up a necromorph. But it was just one of those things where it's like, I find that funny. Whereas like I am mad worried about like bullets expenditure in one game versus bolt expenditure in the other. Plus, I'll just go through it. I want to try to stomp every necromorph to death as much as possible. But I had to bring it up because it was like that was one of the things that I was going to bring up because we were talking about technically zombies and like necromorphs are zombies. But next up for Oscars, I know we're jumping around a lot. Next up for Oscars is Best Adapted Screenplay. And we've got All Quiet on the Western Front, screenplay by Edward Berger, Leslie Patterson, and Ian Stockel. We have Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, written by Ryan Johnson, which I guess they're just counting sequels as an adapted screenplay because it's being adapted from the original. Like it's a really weird one to be. Living, written by Kazuo Ishiguro. Haven't seen it.
Haven't either.
Top Gun Maverick, the second fucking sequel to be nominated right now for Best Adapted Screenplay for writing. And Women Talking. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are fucking like 7 people attached to Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Do there need to be 7 people attached to Top Gun Maverick?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know I don't know the ins and outs of the writing process of that film.
I don't either. But like that's more people than played in the volleyball scene in the first movie.
Or close to. Yeah. They're close to.
I don't think this is going to Ryan Johnson. I don't.
Definitely not going to Ryan Johnson.
I still haven't seen Glass Onion yet. I really do want to watch it. I just don't have access to Netflix like that. I'm not paying for it anymore. I stopped. Top Gun Maverick, the end of that movie is just Star Wars Episode 4, the like A New Hope. Like cool. It took 5 people to do what George Lucas did with shittier dialogue. Women Talking, never seen it. Living, never seen it.
Yeah.
I think All Quiet on the Western Front's gonna win. I think it's the movie that should win.
I'll say this about All Quiet on the Western Front. It doesn't seem to matter what time they adapt that story from, whether
it works.
The original, the 79 version, or this most recent version. It's a story that works, and it's a story that people tend to put a lot of effort into because it does have that pedigree. The first one won Best Picture. The second one was a TV film, but at the exact same time won a Primetime Emmy. And then this most recent one is
it wins the awards.
Yeah, if there's a film with pedigree behind it, it's All Quiet on the Western Front. And I would love to see it because I just think that story is fucking amazing just to begin with.
If that movie doesn't have Jimi Hendrix's All Along the Watchtower in it, I'm going to be disappointed.
I will speak to the main one that I have seen like more than any other.
TGM.
I've seen Top Gun Maverick. I've seen Glass Onion. I've seen All Quiet on the Western Front. I haven't seen Living or Women Talking. I feel like Women Talking this is going to sound really bad.
Trigger warning. This is going to sound really bad, y'all.
Sounds really bad. I feel like Women Talking was put in place of what was that film with Carey Mulligan earlier this year? She Said. Was it?
I'm looking. I'm double checking right now.
Was that one about the Harvey Weinstein stuff? Which you knew the Academy Awards.
Oh yeah, Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan.
Yeah.
You
knew for a fact that the Academy Awards were never,
absolutely not,
going to nominate that film. It didn't matter how good it was going to be. They could never.
They never do it for that. They never do it for like Bombshell. Like
Well, with Bombshell, like you could understand why they would nominate like a lot of the elements of that film.
Yeah,
but like because you can you'd be like, oh yeah, Roger Avery and whatnot, and that's not directly associated.
Airs.
How utterly fucking tone deaf the Academy would look to nominate or potentially award a best picture to a story about their deep-seated negligence. Basically what they'd be doing is they would be fucking patting themselves on the back retroactively. And there was not a chance that at least one person could not put that out to them.
Doctor.
Yeah, like someone had to mention that to them. So, and don't get me wrong, I haven't seen Women Talking, so I can't speak to how good it is or how bad it is. But to me, it sort of kind of seems like a bit of a placeholder for that,
what they actually needed to nominate,
what they wanted to nominate but couldn't actually nominate.
No, I can see it.
Maybe that makes me sound bad, but
I don't think it necessarily makes you sound bad. I think that might be a way that people haven't looked at it, to tell you the truth, because I don't think a lot of people go past the surface level of, oh, well, it's a movie about fucking, it's a movie about one of the dudes who created by far probably one of the largest production companies on the face of the planet and had nothing but bangers come out. Yeah. But he was secretly, ultimately a fucking horrible person, and everybody in Hollywood, it was like one of those quiet secrets that everybody knew the answer to. Everybody knew that Harvey Weinstein was kind of a giant piece of shit, and we'd kind of treated people who had talked about him as if they were the pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of fucking people out there, men and women especially, but several men out there. I think Corey Feldman comes to mind. Fucking, oh my God, what's her bucket? Why am I forgetting her name? Kurt Cobain's wife had something to fucking do with him. Thank you. Fucking, I forgot it. It fell into a hole in my brain. Well played. Rose McGowan had shit to say about it. There were a lot of people out here who had shit to say about it, but I don't think praising a movie that is talking about a predator is the way to go about it. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people would look at it like that. I think they would just see the surface material and be like, oh, well, they were afraid to do it for this reason.
It was about the two women that broke the story. And it's
exactly
the story that you guys were all complicit in for fucking years. Just to me personally, when I saw
Leonard and Bernstein,
I was gonna be. I actually said when I saw the trailer for that movie, I was like, and by the way, I'm getting off on a fucking tangent here. But I remember seeing
it's on topic.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for that film and just being like, I swear to God, if the Academy fucking gives Best Picture to this movie,
I don't even think it's nominated for Best Picture.
It's not. But when I initially saw the trailer,
right,
I was just like, if the Academy gives Best Picture to this film, I'm just done. Forever with the Academy. Not even an ancillary fucking glance at them. But anyways, I mean, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I completely understand. We've got a show to do, and sometimes we go off on tangents. We did it for 45 minutes on The Last of Us and mycology and a whole bunch of other shit like that.
I mean, at least that was
par for the course.
So, you know what I mean?
It's par for the course. But my thing about it is I think that they need to redefine what adapted is.
Yeah.
Because you can adapt from a book, and don't get me wrong, a sequel is adapted from the original, but is it really adapted from the original, or is it an expansion of the original?
Yeah.
That's my thing. The definition of the word adapted is at this point in time, it seems very fucking mercurial, and I don't like it.
I would say it's fairly muddied.
Yeah, it's a gray area. I don't think Glass Onion should be fucking nominated, and I don't think that fucking Top Gun Maverick should be nominated in there. I'm really glad that Avatar: The Way of Water wasn't fucking nominated for it, because that is just, they are trying to make that win all of the fucking awards this year, and I hope it doesn't. Yeah, it's not because it's a bad movie. It's an okay movie, but the movie came out 12 years too late.
Yeah. As far as Glass Onion goes,
you can spoil it, I guess. I'm gonna watch it eventually, but
I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna say my perspective on it without really kind of giving away plot points.
Yeah,
it falls into the same issue that so many whodunits do, and that is the ride of being through that entire experience is actually really good. Like I enjoyed the hell out of like 95% of Glass Onion.
Okay.
It's just the ending where you're like, because by the end of the movie, especially in a contained environment like that,
Yeah, you
can
created
only
like a bottle episode essentially.
it can only be one of so many people.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, I mean, at least with that, there Murder on the Orient Express, there was so many variations on it, and I guess you could say a similar thing about Glass Onion. But by the end of Glass Onion, when the reveal happens, you're just like, "Oh, that is so disappointing." Like, at least for me, I was like utterly disappointed. And then the fact that in many ways it ends like very similarly to the way that like thematically it ends very similarly to Knives Out.
Okay.
Which like makes sense because it's part of that.
I love Knives Out, actually. I was gonna say I haven't seen Glass Onion, but I did live tweet and live react in a group chat with a bunch of my friends who had seen Knives Out, and they were pissed like 30 minutes into the movie when I said, "Hey, I think that this is what happens," because I love whodunits. I love mystery movies. I read mystery books. I was a fucking giant Sherlock Holmes fan.
Yeah,
like
same.
I love most of the Inspector Clouseau movies. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate Murder on the Orient Express. Like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as like most people hate it.
I don't think people hate Murder on the Orient Express. I think people hate Death on the Nile.
I think there are people who hate both, but I think that like most people are like, oh, it's Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie came from the 30s. You didn't have a lot of great fucking like mystery writers in the 30s.
No, that's not true.
I mean, name me another mystery writer from the 30s.
Oh, from the 1930s? Well,
yeah,
prior to the 1930s, or just
like from the 30s, from her era. Like that's what I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. In that regard,
but
I mean,
that's the only thing I meant. Is it's like
I'm not a literary scholar where I can
right. But like I said, I brought up Sherlock Holmes.
There are plenty of really great mystery writers.
Absolutely.
Prior to
that have come before and will come after. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't think that there's a lot there. So like that's the thing, and not a lot of people want to follow somebody who is as OCD as why am I doing this lately? I've been forgetting fucking like every fucking piece of movie trivia I have ever fucking known.
Benoit Blanc?
No, Benoit Blanc is the American version of
Hercule Poirot.
Poirot, thank you. I was like, it's Hercules. It's not Hercules. It's I could not remember Hercule. I could not remember Hercule. But like that's what it comes down to. Is it's like, oh, funny man man with funny accent who can solve mystery. You have this trope at this point in time, because you not only have Poirot, you not only have Benoit Blanc, you also have Steve Martin. You have like they're exactly like there are these really like it's a really specific like movie trope. Like I want to see this movie because I want to see if I can solve it as fast as I solved the first one.
You'll solve it really fast. I solved it. I
fucking love that shit. Yeah. We have gotten off on a tangent. I do have our next one up, unless you have anything else that you want to say.
Well, it does. I will say this: you and I will discuss the ending of it, where I do kind of think I don't want to be a dick about it or anything.
Okay.
I do think Rian Johnson has a very specific fantasy.
Is it like Tarantino has a very specific fantasy that involves feet?
Kind of, but different. It
thank God. Yeah, is it the back dimples? Because I have that fantasy too, bro. I'm just saying,
it ain't like that. It's more complicated than that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that off air. We'll talk about that.
Talk about that off air if you want.
If we end up creating a Patreon for the show, if we could start doing this show more like often, that's some shit that I would love to like have as like an off-topic episode where we could just sit and have a conversation about that dumb shit.
Say some foul shit about it.
Exactly. Oh, yo.
I don't know the guy. I'll never meet the guy more than likely.
We'll call it TCES. They can eat shit. Visual effects is our next category, by the way. Again, we have All Quiet on the Western Front. We have the movie that shouldn't win, but probably will win, Avatar: The Way of Water. We have The Batman.
Mm-hmm.
We have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And we have Top Gun: Maverick.
I mean, this is Avatar's award to lose. Realistic, it's their award to lose. You know, Weta is just fucking incredible.
No, I get that. I really do. Here's my issue. Is they wouldn't give Andy Serkis a Best Supporting Actor nomination for being Gollum, even though he did all of the fucking mocap for it. Did it look amazing? Absolutely it did. 2001, 2003, 2004, whatever fucking year you want to talk about it. Looked fucking amazing. Avatar: The Way of Water hasn't done anything that Avatar didn't do. Avatar hasn't done anything that The Abyss didn't do. And The Abyss did it 30 fucking years ago.
I don't think that's the case, to be honest with you.
I don't like the movie, and maybe I'm biased because I didn't necessarily enjoy the first one.
If we're just talking about CG, like the stuff in the water is unbelievable. But I think if there's going to be one that just sneaks in there to beat it, because Wakanda Forever doesn't have a chance to win. Neither does the Batman, and I don't
honestly, those are the two that I would fight for. To tell you the truth, those are the two that I would fight for.
I think Top Gun Maverick, to be honest with you.
I think Top Gun Maverick has a great shot, but I think that like
best chance of any of those movies to beat Avatar. But
I think personally, Wakanda Forever, and yes, I know I'm saying it the way I'm saying it because it's how Bruce Banner said it, and that man has 7 PhDs. How many PhDs do you have? None? Okay, then. Yeah, Wakanda Forever. Because I enjoy the visuals of the way that they do water more than the Avatar: The Way of the Water does.
Okay, I think if that's your personal perspective on
that's just the way that I look at it. Like as an individual who has Latino heritage, as well as like you, but like that has like I'm trying to take that bias out of it. I'm trying to take that bias out of it, but I do enjoy it just a little bit more. And I can't wait for it to drop because I've watched that movie fucking 4 times so far. I've only watched Avatar once, Way of the Water once.
Yeah.
But I don't feel I need to watch that movie ever again. It was like the exact same reason why I watched Avatar. Like I've watched Avatar like 10 times, but it's just Ferngully. It's other movies I've seen.
The hardest part for me about watching Avatar 2 was me thinking to myself, and I remember I said this to my dad back in 2009 when the first Avatar came out. I was just like,
I remember having conversations with my dad in 2009, and then he died. And Avatar was his favorite movie, so maybe that like creates a little bit of bias within me. But I still can't watch those movies.
Fair enough.
Sorry, dark humor, but like also reality.
Well, as far I remember saying to my dad back in 2009 when we saw it together, I was like, didn't that just kind of feel like all of James Cameron's like greatest hits?
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, you got this from The Abyss. You got this from Titanic. You got this from Aliens. You got this from Terminator. And I just listed off like, and by the way,
all of Jim Cameron's fucking oeuvre.
Long time since I've seen the first Avatar movie. I don't think I ever watched it after walking out of the theater. Just because actually I don't, if I have it was one random night where I was hanging out with my friends or something, and this
but it's not that movie that you throw on randomly and put on the background.
It's not one that I'm just down to go watch.
It's that movie that you find on like TNT or some random TV station that happens to be on, and you catch it 2/3 of the way through the movie, and you're like, there's nothing else on. Let me finish watching this movie because it's background noise.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, even though once again it was a lot of James Cameron's hits with this sequel, and I knew it was going to be.
Yeah,
visually it's pretty stunning. It's pretty remarkable.
I can't wait. I can't wait for 2054 when we finally get Avatar: Way of Fire.
Yeah.
Because like I'm tired of this. Oh, you shot this movie in 8K. Cool. You show me an 8K screen.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, you don't have one of those, so your movie is so ahead of its time that you have to wait for time to catch up. Then make that movie then.
Yeah.
or don't make your movie at all. Don't complain about how superhero movies are making $2 billion and then you cry about how your movie needs to break $2 million to break even.
Yeah.
Your movie is just barely broken even. Your movie isn't like a fucking godsend. Your movie isn't going to change the way that cinema works because of this. And I like a lot of James Cameron movies.
I love them. Yeah,
The Abyss is by far one of my favorite movies, which is really fucking weird because it doesn't strike a lot of people as like one of those movies that I would enjoy because a lot of people see me as like a geek guy.
Well, it's also not your typical James Cameron movie.
It's really not, but I think that's what I like about it.
How much action is really in The Abyss?
You sink a nuclear submarine. And then you threaten to nuke aliens, and then aliens kill somebody, and then people die, and then you shove people into liquid H2O. Like there's not a lot. Like that seems like a lot because I'm naming things, but this is a 3-hour fucking movie, and that's 6 action scenes in a 3-hour movie. That means there's one action scene like every 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like Terminator or True Lies or Aliens or even Aliens. Aliens have a lot of moments of character development. We're getting off topic at this point. But yeah, I think it's Avatar's award to lose personally for me.
That's fair.
I think that the only one that could really kind of go up against it is Top Gun.
It's fair. You're talking 2022's
Top
Star
Gun.
Wars.
Yes, exactly.
Sound is our next.
Sound. Okay.
Sound. And I have a degree in audio production and design. You are a musician. This is one of those ones where like there are only 5 nominations here.
Yes.
So I don't know how long this one's gonna run, and I'm gonna try to run us through this one a little bit fast. But we have All Quiet on the Western Front again being nominated for Best Sound. We have Avatar: The Way of Water being nominated for Best Sound. This is the one that I think that it has in lock. Don't get me wrong. We have the Batman, which I think is I think
it should be the one that wins. Personally.
I think it's the one that should be the one to win. But like Avatar: The Way of Water and the next one are like all 3 of them are tied.
Yeah.
Like honestly, and it's like 1 vote, maybe 2.
I think Elvis.
Because the next one is Elvis. No, I don't even like Elvis. I think Elvis is a giant piece of shit. I think the human being Elvis is a giant piece of shit. I actually enjoy the sound in that movie.
The quality of the sound I can give you. I think it's just the fact that Baz Luhrmann is just so like.
When was the last time a Baz Luhrmann movie got nominated for an Oscar? Romeo plus Juliet?
No, I mean,
I know.
If it did, it wasn't any like the major one.
No, did he do Moulin Rouge?
He did do
Moulin Rouge was nominated for Oscars.
Moulin Rouge was the last one.
I think so. Neither can I. But I don't think
like 2 decades.
I'm gonna look this up. But please tell me why you think Elvis is a piece of shit, because I agree with that. Put the sound on it.
I mean, besides, I mean, don't get me wrong. We can get into a lot of the issues with Elvis's legacy and whatnot, and that's stuff that, just to be frank with you, kind of bores the shit out of me at this point because it's just been tread over so many goddamn times. But that's really not.
Elvis nominated for Best Picture. Moulin Rouge nominated for Best Picture. Yeah.
Anything in between that? Didn't think so.
Grammy? No, nothing else. Yeah. I mean, Moulin Rouge is by far probably his second best movie. I still think Romeo plus Juliet is better than fucking Moulin Rouge, but that's me. But I like The Bard more than I like fucking people dying of tuberculosis, even if it has Jedi Jesus in it.
I mean, I will say I am quite preferable to a piece of media where someone does die of tuberculosis quite a bit, but fair enough.
Dying of consumption.
Yes. I gave you all the hair, Dutch. Hey there, black lung. Yes.
Pop, I think I got the black lung.
I've been in the mines for 30 years. You don't have the black lung.
You don't have the black lung.
Water is the essence of moisture.
No. Oh no, yeah. Water is the essence of moisture. Moisture is the essence of wetness.
Beauty.
Fucking orange mocha frappuccinos. Avatar: Way of Water does something like really well with tribal music,
Yeah,
Like especially like almost like this Polynesian cultural tribal music that I think is done better in better movies that weren't nominated for this category at all. Because I think you fucking call me a fucking shill all you want. I think Wakanda Forever did a better job of creating a tribal sound for not only an African nation but for like a South American nation than Avatar: The Way of Water did ever.
fair. Sorry, there's some weird shit going on outside my window. But I think it's the silence in the Batman and then the gigantic bursts.
Yes.
To me, it's like it's just such a the way it explores silence.
Uses silence as a part of its fucking sound
and tension and the fact that it informs the rest of the film. Just for me personally, I don't think that film, I think you could have good elements of sound design in Avatar: The Way of Water or a number of other films, but I don't think that there's, well, actually, let me see what else is got nominated. Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick and Elvis.
It's got great sound. Fuck, it's got really good sound. I don't know. I'm between.
If you had to flip the coin between Batman and Maverick,
I saw both of them in IMAX. What worked for me was the Batman, but if someone said to me Top Gun, I wouldn't argue with them just because it was incredible in IMAX. And the sound was just unbelievable. But yeah, so I'd go with the Batman. And I think you're on the same page with me with that one.
I am. Plus, anytime you like drop Nirvana down, and like you can make it creepier than anything that Mr. Cobain could do, like I'm here for it. Our next two, we might skip over, just because they're short film animated and short film live action. I don't know how many of those you've seen.
I haven't seen
exactly. So
I'm kind of out of it on that one.
Production design.
Who's got production design?
We've got
All Quiet,
Avatar: The Way of Water,
Babylon,
Elvis, Babylon, and The Fabelmans. I think a lot of the fact that like everything that happens in Avatar at this point in time is CGI for the most part. It's 85% CGI is going to hurt it in production design. So personally, I'm stuck between two, and it's between Elvis and All Quiet. And I would give this one to All Quiet.
Yeah, I think I'm on the exact same page as you. I think just on the outside of that, weirdly enough, is The Fabelmans.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, like I have so many. We can talk about my issues with the Fabelman later on, but
absolutely.
But I think you're pretty much dead on that one.
We're getting to the big one now. This is the first of the big ones. This is Best Picture.
Best Picture. Oh well, I mean, you and I are gonna agree on what should win.
Absolutely.
What?
But for everybody out there listening, we've got All Quiet on the Western Front, Malte Grumert as producer, Avatar: The Way of Water, James Cameron, John Landau as producers, The Banshees of Inisherin, Graham Broadbent, Pete Sarzan, and Martin McDonough as producers, Elvis, Baz Luhrmann, Catherine Martin, Gail Berman, Patrick McCormick, Skylar Weiss as producers, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Daniels, Quan and Scheinert, along with Jonathan Wang, The Fabelmans, Christy McCosco, Krieger, Steven Spielberg, and Tony Kushner, Todd Field, Alexandra Michon, and Scott Lambert, Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise, Christopher McQuarrie, David Ellison, Jerry Bruckheimer, Triangles of Sadness, Eric Hemmendorf, and Philippe Bober. And Women Talking, Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Frances McDormand. We are both in agreement of what should win this.
Yeah.
Because it encompasses everything, everywhere, all at fucking once.
Yeah.
It is Everything Everywhere All at Once. The fucking Daniels should win this movie.
I just don't understand.
Or should win this award.
Like, I don't understand how you can go against that film, just for me personally, because Everything Everywhere All at Once is exactly what it sets out in its title. It's romance, it's drama, it's action, it's a fucking family story, it's a wild sci-fi ride. It's got some horror elements to it.
Yo,
Me, I don't understand how you have one film that literally can
do
span
everything,
all those different genres and not feel stretched
at all,
or cheap or lame or whatever. Like, because there are a lot of things that will try to play with, style and whatnot, in a lot of different ways.
The
And
first time I
is
watched the movie, the one universe that I didn't like was Hot Dog Fingers.
I was gonna say it's Hot Dog.
Hot Dog Fingers. But upon rewatch of that movie, even that, it's got notes. It's teaching compassion. It's teaching love. It's teaching you can be angry at somebody, but even the smallest of gestures, like play this song on the piano with your feet for me, because it's my favorite song and you learned that song. Play that song for me.
I mean, the comedy as well of Raccacoonie.
Raccacoonie.
That one's amazing.
Yo, when Michelle Yeoh jumps on Oboy's head and just starts controlling him and making him chase after, yes,
fucking hilarious. Then on top of that,
bro, the rocks, the rocks in front of the Grand Canyon.
Love that.
Like, you do so much with just subtitles.
Like, it's that whole scene was remarkable to me, because I was just like, there's no
it's quiet.
It's so quiet, and it just does.
It's silence.
It's complete and total silence. It's beautiful.
It fucking works for me.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have like the action elements that go through the film. You have the sci-fi elements that go through the film. But then when it gets down to the heart of the film, it's a story about a daughter and her mother and the challenges between them, and the challenges of generational trauma, and the challenges of
it is intergenerational trauma,
and also
the movie.
The challenges of immigration and living in a place other than where you are from, and it's just
having a daughter who doesn't speak your language but learned your secondary language as their first language. Like, I think those are some of my favorites. Stephanie Su and James Hong together. Like, when she's trying to speak Chinese to him, when she's trying to speak Mandarin to him, and he's like, what is going on here? Hilarious. But when like Evelyn finally is like, no, I get it. I can see this. This means something not only to myself, to Wayman, but it also means something to my daughter. This is my daughter's girlfriend. Like, that acceptance. Bro, this movie is so good. If you haven't seen this fucking movie, go watch this fucking movie.
Go watch
God damn it.
It's my favorite movie that I've seen in the past 3 years, I want to say. Like, the last time I really, and once again, it's fucking Asian cinema. That makes me like love it. But the movie that I loved, like, just a little bit more than Everything Everywhere in the past number of years, the only one really is Parasite. And that's just because that movie's fucking perfect to me.
Parasite's my number 3, actually. It goes Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is technically 5 years old, but so is Parasite?
Parasite's 4 years old now, nearly.
Yeah. So within the last decade or so, within the last
5 years, we'll say.
Yeah. Like, Spider-Man is still up there because I think Spider-Verse is just by far one of the best fucking movies that's ever been released from the year 2018 onward. Yeah. This is a close fucking tie. This is a close tie. And I don't know, I don't know if a lot of people understand how much work that Michelle Yeoh puts into doing everything it is that she does.
Oh yeah.
But she is Guy, bro. She is the fucking person who will do everything.
She's her.
She is her. Yeah, she is her. Which
I think we'll get to something involving that next.
Yes. Yeah, yo, is Guy, bro. I don't think Top Gun Maverick has it. I don't think Avatar has it.
No.
I don't think Banshees of Inisherin has it.
No.
And we haven't seen Triangles of Sadness or Women Talking. All Quiet on the Western Front, I don't think has it.
Sleeper, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's the 700 to 1 pick right there.
Yeah, I think it's between 3. Really, I think it's, and even then, I don't think it should be between these 3. Everything, Everywhere, Fablemans, and Tar. I think Tar's the real kind of like dark horse to win it. But yeah, to me, Everything, Everywhere is just exactly what it should be. And to be honest with you, fuck the Fablemans in this. If it wins, I'm just like,
it'll only win because it's Spielberg.
It's Spielberg, and it might be the last chance that they get to give him another one.
They should have tried harder earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
give him an honorary Oscar in fucking 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
Do everything it is that you have done for every other fucking person that you have slighted and wronged. But The Fablemans is not a better movie than Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, not even close.
I think Everything Everywhere All at Once touches on so many different genres and none of them feel forced.
I always felt like, at least with my initial...
Also, it's a March release.
At least with my initial viewing, so I can't speak to if I do watch The Fablemans again, because I don't really want to watch it again.
No.
I don't really.
So one of those movies that you search out and you're like, you know what? I'm not feeling the greatest. I want to watch The Fablemans.
Yeah, well, yeah, fuck, man.
I've been sick. I've been sick like twice in the last like 8 months, and you know what I've done? Every time I've been sick, I throw on Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's a great choice.
I throw on Everything Everywhere All at Once, Princess Mononoke, and The Princess Bride. Those are the 3 movies that I watch when I'm sick.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've got original song up next.
All right, well, who's up for original song?
You want to read them or should I?
All right, we got Ryan Coogler, Ludwig Göransson, Rihanna, Thames, Lift Me Up, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Lady Gaga and Blood Pop, Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, M.M. Kiravani and Chandra Bose, Not To, Triple R, or RRR rather, whichever way.
I've always called it Triple R.
Yeah. Diane Warren, Applause, Tell It Like a Woman, and Ryan Lott, David Byrne, and Mitski, This Is Life, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if there's been a movie this year where the song has actually really stuck with me.
No.
Like,
I 100% agree.
Because I've heard these or I've seen these, and I am kind of like, eh. But then again, I haven't seen RRR, and there's a very good chance that should probably win, because from everything I've heard about that movie, people talk about that fucking song.
That movie's a fucking trip, bro.
I've heard, and it's one I should really get around to watching.
That movie is a fucking trip, bro. I'm
too focused on other things, man.
No, I feel it. I'm gonna flat out. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be Hold My Hand, because they have a fucking, like, the Academy has a hard on for Lady Gaga. Like, they really do. Lift Me Up is not the song that I would have nominated from Black Panther. To tell you the truth, that like remix of No Woman No Cry probably would have been mine, because it's by far probably the most emotional movie in the soundtrack. Like, in the movie itself would have been my shot for it. But I also love to see the fact that there are more comic book movies getting nods and getting serious nods, not just like, oh, we'll think about giving them one of these.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it'll probably be Hold My Hand. If not, I'd love for it to be This Is a Life. Because This Is a Life is one of those songs, if I think that's the song that plays over the montage when they're fighting through all of the fucking universes, to tell you the truth. And it works for me. Like, it's not just the scenes in the movie, it's the music in that scene in of itself that work. Like, it hits. and I am fucking here for it every time. Every time. We've got original score. Ooh. Okay. Our nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Volkar Bertelmann. We've got Babylon, Justin Hurwitz. We've got the Banshees of Inner Sheeran, Carter Burwell, the Coen brothers' favorite fucking composer. We've got Everything Everywhere All at Once, Sun Lux. Somehow that still rhymes. And then we've got the Fablemans, John Williams.
Probably give it to John Williams. Once again, it's the last chance that they have to give him one.
Yeah, the man's 90 fucking thousand years old.
Yeah, it's really the very, very last chance that they have to give him one. That ain't going too much longer, unfortunately.
No.
Because, like, let's face it, he's arguably, actually, I don't even really want to say arguably. He's probably like the Mozart or the Beethoven or the Bach of our time.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
I don't even think that's really disputable at the end of the day.
Him and Stephen Sondheim.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Rip to Stephen Sondheim, by the way. For those who don't know, he passed away.
Yeah,
we've got a. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think it's his.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the sleeper choice would be Sun Lux, for everything. But if you're gonna give everything all of these and not give it the one that it deserves, which is Best Picture,
yeah,
you're doing a disrespect to the movie. You're
also
doing a disrespect to people. Yeah,
All Quiet.
Yo, like, I can see it. I wouldn't be mad at either of the. I wouldn't be mad at any of those three, honestly, winning.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I really wouldn't. We got makeup and hairstyling up next.
Who's nominated for that? Makeup and hairstyling. Looking through here, trying to find it. Makeup and hairstyling. I can't find it on the site that I'm looking at. Maybe I'm
makeup and hairstyling. We have.
There we go.
I was like, okay.
All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale.
They're gonna count the fat soda as makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah, 100% they are. 100% they are, because it is makeup at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know if you heard some of the stories, but he said one of those prosthetics that he wears is close to 300 pounds. Like, he fell down during a shoot on the set. Brendan Fraser fell down on the shoot on the set during shoot and could not get up by himself.
No shit.
And that's a bulky dude. He's fat. Like, that man has always been jacked. Look at fucking that man is a fucking, like, just diesel. He's yo, bro. But like, yeah,
he's a big guy. The challenge for me on this one is The Whale. While you do have that one really, really, really amazing piece of makeup work,
what else do you have?
Yeah, as opposed to The Batman, which honestly, between makeup job for,
you call yourself the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, like that. The makeup for Colin Farrell alone, that's pretty fucking remarkable.
Oh yeah, no, like they did a great job there. I still think the dark horse here. Still think the dark horse here is Wakanda Forever. I really like everything it is that they did for, like, a lot of the people from Talokan. I really enjoy the look of everybody. Plus, they just expanded upon everything that happens in Wakanda. Like, it looks more lived in. The people don't feel as robotic, and they look more natural in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'll give it a slim chance to win. I don't think it's gonna win. I honestly think it will be the Batman. And if it's not the Batman, it's gonna be the Whale. And this isn't the one that the Whale should win.
Yeah. All right. You want to get to the big ones, the real big ones?
Yeah, because what do we have? International film editing, documentary, directing,
animated film, animated feature as well. Which I'm going to be honest with you, I can't speak to just because I haven't seen Del Toro's Pinocchio or Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Marcel the Shell with shoes on is gonna win. To tell you the truth, what I think should win, is actually Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Hmm.
I watched that movie. I fucking adore that movie.
It's great.
It's so good, dude.
It's
Turning Red's not going to win.
No,
Not at all. Marcel the Shell with shoes on could possibly take it, but that's more of that's a runner up in my opinion. Pinocchio, it's really weird because it's one of those movies that was like stop motion animation, and we don't have a lot of those anymore. But I think that Puss in Boots, after the last one that we got, I think Puss in Boots is going to be the one.
And this, as for the Sea Beast, I think that's probably like sort of a Klaus sort of situation where they're just extremely excited to be nominated.
What was it? The Boy, the Bull, the Hare, and the Fox, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of those ones that I thought was gonna get a nom. And I'm kind of surprised didn't, because I've watched scenes from that, and everything I've seen has been immaculate. Has been fucking immaculate. What do you want to start with? Because we still got some big ones left. We've got cinematography, we've got directing, and then we've got our actors.
Cinematography is kind of a tough one for me because I've seen I've seen the better part of these movies, but I haven't seen Empire of Light, and so Roger Deakins could probably be doing something that is
it's fucking Roger Deakins, bro.
Roger Deakins. He could.
It's Roger Deakins, bro.
He could film with a fucking potato, like, and he'd find a way to.
And it would win. And
it
would fucking win. I haven't seen Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. You've seen Tar. I've seen Elvis. I like the way that Elvis is shot. I don't like the movie. I think the movie is shot really well.
Yeah, I think Elvis is just a little too janky to win, though.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Because some of the visuals are remarkable, but it's just that fucking epileptic pace.
Yeah,
where you're just like, I don't know. I think that'll do it. I think All Quiet is probably going to win this one.
I 100% understand that. But the thing about Elvis that doesn't work for it is the thing that I liked about Miss Marvel, the TV show.
Okay.
Is Miss Marvel was shot at a frantic and like frenetic pace. Like it was shot by somebody who had ADHD.
Okay.
You can like just tell it was shot like the mind of a teenager works. Whereas I don't think that works for Elvis. I think that actually kind of hinders Elvis. Whereas like it works for a TV show, it doesn't work for a movie. I can see All Quiet winning, but I haven't seen Tar. You are the only one here who has seen Tar. What did you think of like the half that you saw?
It's pretty great. Cinematography wise, like there's a lot of tracking shots that work in it that are really, really impressive.
Okay.
It's hard to say. I don't think I'd give it. I don't think it's going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone took a look at it and was just like, especially if you are like a cinematographer and you just sat back and were just like, I'm amazed at the way this film is shot. It's kind
of like the way that everybody did with 1917.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, or kind of like how we're all amazed at like the one-shot nature. It's not the same way, but one-shot nature of like God of War or like Birdman or something like that. There's a lot of elements to it that are similar to that.
I got you. You want to do actors and then save directing for last?
Yeah, I'll save directing for last.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure we're on the same page for that.
You know what? Actually, let's do directing first, because we're on the same page with who should win for directors. There's no surprise with that. We're just gonna
it's the Daniels. It's Quan and Shining.
Daniels, exactly.
Martin McDonagh is not going to win for the Banshees of Inisherin. I'm sorry, it's not going to win.
Spielberg might win for The Fabelmans.
Reasons that we've talked about before. It's like literally their last chance. Todd Field and Ruben Östlund. We've already talked about both of these. No. Yeah, there's one far and away movie that is nominated that should win.
Yes, and it's the Daniels. They should win it 100%.
We're gonna start with actors or actresses.
Let's start with actresses.
Supporting.
Yeah, let's go with supporting.
Okay.
I personally think this is going to be Angela Bassett's to lose.
I get where you're coming from. This is Queen Ramonda from Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I think who's gonna win is Stephanie Sue.
You know what? Oh fuck, I would love that.
I think Stephanie Sue's gonna win,
or Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think Jamie doesn't
either or
do enough. Like Jamie does a lot in this movie. Don't get me wrong. Jamie does a lot in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
But every time she is on screen, she's fucking electric.
Absolutely.
And that's the issue you run into. It's because I think development-wise and the amount of shit that Stephanie Sue has to work with.
The attitude changes, the costume changes, just like being able to change shit on the fly from being vulnerable to being like aggressive to being passive aggressive to being nonchalantly sadistic with everything it is that she has to do in that movie.
Oh yeah,
I think that she gives an acting class in that movie, and a lot of people are not recognizing that. And like, I get it. We're not going to see Angela Bassett in another MCU movie. We're not, sadly. Spoilers for Wakanda Forever if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Queen Ramonda dies, but she does a fucking amazing job in the 2/3 of the movie that she is in.
Mm-hmm.
But that movie is about loss. Like, that movie is about loss. We knew what was going to happen. It was either going to be her or it was going to be fucking Shuri who died. Yeah. And it wasn't Shuri. Yeah. My money's on Stephanie. My money is on Stephanie Sue all day.
I think they're going to try and give it to Angela Bassett, not just for body of work.
Right.
Because I feel like they kind of
need to.
Like she's like what was it? She got nominated for What's Love Got to Do with It? And who wound up winning that year?
What was that? 92, 93?
92, I want to say.
92. I will look that up right now. Continue talking about the goddess Angela Bassett.
Yeah. Which, by the way, goddamn, she still got it.
Oh, she still got it, bro.
Like, let's be real about something. Stella never lost her groove.
Stella never had to get her groove back. She's always had it.
She always had it.
Maybe it was 93 because I'm on 92 right now.
Got to do with 93. It was 93. Okay. I'll pull this up.
90.
This is so entertaining.
Absolutely. But you know what? We're here for it. Marissa Tomei, Judy Davis for Husband and Wives, Joan Plowright for Enchanted April, Vanessa Redgrave. No, that's not even right.
Oh, Holly Hunter for The Piano.
Oh, okay. So that's got to be the 94 ceremonies then, right?
Yeah, it's the 94 ceremony.
Okay. That's what fucked me up. That's one thing I hate about it. Anna Paquin. She lost to Anna Paquin for The Piano. Yeah. Wait, no.
No. She lost to Holly Hunter for The Piano.
Is she actress in a leading role in that?
Yeah, actress in a leading role. Because, she's Tina Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It.
No, I know, but she's Best Supporting Actress for 2023.
Oh, for 2023. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. No, I was looking at the Best Supporting Actress category.
No, I just feel like they're, I don't know, maybe I haven't seen The Piano in a long fucking time.
Yeah, I don't think but it's one of those movies that you come across where like you're like, oh, I don't need to watch this again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, does that make it a bad movie? No, obviously not. It won a fucking Oscar. Most movies that win Oscars that aren't named The Green Book are good movies. I'm sorry. The Green Book is not a good movie. It shouldn't have won anything. It should have been nominated for anything. Like, fuck off.
What did Green Book even beat that year? I'm trying to remember.
Shouldn't have beat anything. What it should have beat is its own fucking ass for even being nominated for a goddamn Oscar.
2019. So it beat A Star Is Born. It beat Black Panther. Roma. It beat Vice. It beat Bohemian Rhapsody. It beat Black Klansman.
Black Klansman should have been the winner there. Let's be real here.
Roma Roma probably.
I don't like
Roma,
Roma.
or it's, you know what? It depends on your taste.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say it's all fucking. It's all subjective.
Yeah, it's film is subjective at the end of the day. I think but it should have been either Black Klansman or Roma.
But you know what? Film can't be political because art isn't political.
No, that's bullshit.
I fucking dude. I've gotten so many like. I'll make TikToks.
In a lot of ways, it shouldn't be. In so many ways,
it is.
It becomes political whether you wind up. Whether or not someone reads something into what you wound up making, and it wasn't even your intention to do it, or you outwardly try to wind up doing it, someone will eventually make it political.
Blue laser swords versus red laser swords. That's political. Fucking like red shots versus green shots. That's political. Fucking Captain America punching Hitler is somehow political. Although like Captain America is an anti-fascist. Like that's canon. Like Hitler was the biggest fascist on the face of the planet. We bash the fasci around here. I'm just saying. Like everybody is like sitting here. Like it's one of those things that I love about like being on comic TikTok. And I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tirade right now. It's one of the things that I love about like comic books in general as a medium, because comic books are inherently a political medium. It doesn't matter what it is that you think. Comic books are an inherently political medium because these are characters that live in their own worlds. They have their own thoughts. They have their own ideologies. These are characters on a page that don't technically exist, but the people who create them do exist. And they have their own agendas and they have their own thought processes. And all of this matters. All of this is a thing that happens. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to talk about it. Like everybody's like, oh, when it comes to, we won't bring up what's happening right now, but like Professor X and Magneto, Martin Luther King Jr. and fucking Malcolm X, like this isn't a oh, you're grasping at straws. No, this is a hey, this was stated by the creators of these characters that these aren't necessarily stand-ins, but these are allegories for shit like this. These are characters like that. Everything is political. Even when Wonder Woman was fighting the Japanese people, when Superman fought the Japanese people, when Captain America punched Hitler on the page of Captain America, on the cover of Captain America #1, like comic books are an inherently political medium.
Whether they're being
movies have gotten subtle about it though. Movies have gotten less overhanded with it, and that's what I mean by the move to subtle.
There are quite a number of times where you can watch something and it's like, oh, I see exactly what you're saying to me right now. Can we just move on with the fucking story or something?
Speaking of just like really random political shit that you see in movies, I think one of my favorites actually comes from the prequel to a movie that is being nominated for an Oscar this year. And it comes from Knives Out.
Okay.
And this is one of the little throwaway lines when like everybody is yelling at Marta and old boy, little red pill old boy is like, oh, what do you want, a little anchor baby? And I'm just like, dog, what? Okay, she's a fucking Latina lady. Son, it's by far one of those, like, I had to rewind the scene to make sure that I heard what he had said correctly.
And see, I'll be honest with you, I find watching Rian Johnson's films, there's nothing subtle about any.
But like he's from Britain, bro. They don't have spice. They don't have subtlety. They conquered 2/3 of the known fucking world for a spice that they never used.
No, I mean it's not even just that. But like, once again, this ties back into what I was talking about to you. Earlier when it came to just Rian Johnson and some of his proclivities. We'll talk about that like when we're off air and stuff. But
absolutely,
yeah. So
we'll be done here soon. We only have a couple more
in a hot minute. So
absolutely. Carrie Condon is nominated for Banshees of Inisherin. No, sorry.
No, probably not.
No. Angela Bassett, maybe. Hong Chow for The Whale. I have not seen The Whale yet. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because it's not for rent yet. Sorry. Carrie Condon, no. Jamie Lee Curtis, maybe. Stephanie Sue, yes. That is my choice. Stephanie Sue has Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Mhm.
We have Best Actress in a Leading Role, as a matter of fact. We have Kate Blanchett
I know who
for
both
Tar.
of us. I know who both of us believe should win this one.
Absolutely. We have Ana de Armas for Blonde. We
Actually,
have Andrea Riceborough for To Leslie. We have Michelle Williams, or as I called her earlier tonight, Michelle Williams, in The Fablemans. And we have the correct choice for this, Michelle Yeoh, for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
yeah. This is us just going to be like licking the clit of Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I don't fuck. I'll suck the dick of Everything Everywhere All at Once as long as it wins the Oscars. I don't give a fuck. It deserves it.
I just said licking the clit. It's predominantly a female-led film.
Absolutely. But like, okay, so to shout out Talking Disney, I believe is the show. I'm gonna pull this up. You talk about this real fast. I gotta pull up the show that I was on yesterday with a friend of everybody in the leagues. So talk about this. It's Doing Disney, by the way. Got it.
Ana de Armas, as far as Blonde goes, doesn't have a chance.
Nope, not at all.
Good for her for getting nominated. I just remember
Again?
I just remember hearing again. Really, she was nominated before. What was she nominated for?
I'm pretty sure she was nominated before. I don't think it was for Best Actress, but I'm pretty sure she's been nominated before.
I feel like she's only been nominated for this, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm looking it up right now. Go ahead.
Nominated for one Oscar. Yeah, she's been nominated. So congratulations to her for getting nominated.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just from all I've heard about this film, it's a fucking dud. And it's, to me, it was a very weird choice to cast her as Marilyn Monroe. Apparently, she's good enough to get nominated for an Oscar. So maybe I'm totally full of shit. Andrea Riseborough to Leslie. I haven't seen it. I can't.
Haven't seen it either. I'm not going to talk on a movie I haven't seen.
Me either. Good for her for getting nominated.
Absolutely. Shout outs.
Michelle Williams.
Talk about miscast.
I don't even think it was a miscasting. I just think that it was just a poor choices thing. Like at the end of the day, like acting is always just choices.
Well, yeah,
it's the choices you make to display your character, to communicate your character on screen. I just think that her choices, aren't great. Her voice, her
hear me out here,
Judy Garland-esque fucking thing. I just didn't like it. There was just, and it was just
hear me out here.
It was kind of like the antithesis of Paul Dano in that movie.
My thing about it is you can be the best person who tries out. You can be the best person who goes and like, oh my God, why am I forgetting words all of a sudden?
Auditions.
Thank you. Tries out, auditions. I had essentially, I was there. I had a verb of it. But you can go and you can be the best person to audition for a movie and still not be the best person for the movie.
Yeah.
You can be the best person who auditions for the movie, but not be the best person for the movie.
Agreed.
But that doesn't fall on them. But I think that she was miscast.
Yeah.
Personally.
Hypothetically, actually, and this is kind of ties back into our old topic of The Last of Us, and just kind of as a sidebar.
Who would I cast?
No, I mean, now that we know that Pedro Pascal has just fucking nailed it as Joel.
Yeah.
I wanted Hugh Jackman to play Joel.
No, I can see it.
I think he would have done a great job. Do you think that it still would have been the case that the best guy who walked in would have been Pedro Pascal, or do you think the best guy would have been Hugh Jackman in terms of acting wise? But who would have been best for the role? Do you think it's kind of the same thing? Because I think the Pedro Pascal has just nailed it so fucking hard. That
I think Pedro Pascal has done something that not a lot of people can do. Pedro Pascal does this in everything it is that he does. Whether it's him as like whiskey in fucking Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle. I loved him. I hated his character, but I loved the choice of casting him. Mm-hmm. Great fucking motivation for the character. Mm-hmm. Does a great job as Joel. Yeah. Did a great job as Lord Oberyn of Dorne in fucking Game of Thrones. I
Bryn Martell was the shit.
don't think I don't even think I would need like to see. I don't think I would need to see audition tapes. I think if you told me that these two characters or these two actors are up for this, who would I choose? I don't need Wolverine for this. And I think that might have hurt him, to tell you the truth.
Fair.
Because he is Wolverine and he is known as a badass. And Joel is kind of a dude who gets fucked up throughout this entire thing. And everybody wouldn't.
Joel's badass.
Joel is a badass, don't get me wrong, but he gets fucked up.
Yeah.
And he gets fucked up more than I think Hugh Jackman has ever been fucked up in a movie before.
We could talk about that, but
yeah, we definitely can. We definitely can. Like there could be an argument there. There could be an argument there, but I think Pedro Pascal is the better choice to play Joel than Hugh Jackman is.
Yeah. But as far as best actress goes, I think that it's between Michelle Yeoh and unfortunately Cate Blanchett, just because I want to see Michelle Yeoh win it so fucking bad.
That's because she deserves it.
She does deserve it. Like the amount of things she has to do in that role, it's fucking remarkable. I so hope she wins it. She deserves it. Especially
the thing is if Stephanie wins, and they deprive Michelle of it, the reason why Stephanie wins will be the exact same reason why Michelle should have won.
Yeah,
but they're gonna try to play it off like that's not the case. Although Michelle Yeoh does everything in her powers to be a mother, to be an individual trying to run a business, to being a martial artist, which is one of the things that she has done for her entire fucking career, to being a caring and understanding individual, even when she doesn't understand the situation, still trying. Michelle Williams, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Andrew Riceborough, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Ana de Armas, nobody cares.
Yeah, no one cares. Get the fuck out.
Nobody cares. Sorry. Go. I'll see you in Blade Runner 2074.
Yeah. Take your fine ass over there.
Yo, facts. And Cate Blanchett, you can take your fine ass along with her. Yeah. But at the exact same point in time, I'm sorry. No.
But Cate Blanchett's the only one who's just like, no, I think I'm going to stick around for a little bit.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you. You can be the queen of what was. You can be the queen of agony. You can be the queen of despair. Like, no, I'm sorry. Fuck out of here. This is Michelle Yeoh's to lose, and if they don't give it to her and they give it to Stephanie, I'm still gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad, but they both deserve. That pair deserves it.
I agree completely. All right, best supporting actor. I'm gonna go through these.
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin.
Passed.
Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway.
Like it.
Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans.
Pass.
He's in for like 5 minutes. Barry Keoghan for the Banshees of Inisherin. And
Pass.
We both know who should win. Ke-Huy Quan, Everything Everywhere, All at Once.
I've only seen like 15 minutes of Causeway, but I've never seen a disappointing performance from Brian Tyree Henry.
Not me either. Also, to be frank with you, the best accent I think maybe I've ever heard was him as Lemon.
Oh, 100%. 100%. No diesels, bro. No diesels, bro. You're a diesel.
Yeah, like it just tripped me out so bad because I was like, that's Brian fucking Tyree Henry. I was just
maybe I had a third brother. Really?
Like,
no.
I had to question. Has he been doing like an American accent?
Yo, like I thought the same shit, bro. I did so much. Oh no, it's so good. It was so good. But I'm like, I'm surprised that like
some of the best British accents from American actors came out of that movie. Like
absolutely,
genuinely, really fucking good. Joey King too. Like
really
good. Anyway,
there's no the Bullet Train is another movie not nominated for a fucking Oscar, by the way.
Really
last year? No, that's a 2022 movie.
Yeah, really fun movie.
I think that's the one that Brian Tyree Henry should have been nominated for, and it should have been Best Supporting Actor because he does such a good fucking job in that movie. I'd love to see it, but I'm glad that this man's getting work. He out here putting it in.
He's
Ke-Huy Quan, though. Ke-Huy Quan is just Goonies never die, dog.
Yeah.
Goonies never say die. Goonies never die. No Time for Love, Dr. Jones. We had a man out here who thought that he had been pushed into a fucking like a corner that he would never get out of. Like, this man's fear was becoming the like long duck dong of fucking movies, and I'm glad that it didn't happen. I'm glad that he took a step away, and I'm glad that movies like Crazy Rich Asians came out that showed him, yo, Asian actors are getting love.
Yeah.
Let's make this movie. Let's fucking do this.
And to him, seeing something like Parasite must, especially,
yes,
been like the greatest thing for him ever. Like I can,
gotta step over that 2-inch fence, bro.
100%.
Fuck,
100%.
dog.
But as far as he goes,
he should win.
He should win, and he will win. And this is why. Not only is the performance fully deserving of it, but he has the narrative too.
He does.
He has.
He does. You also
perfect,
have.
I'm not gonna lie, it's the perfect blend of
it really
Oscar politics.
Yeah.
And the performance just straight up fucking deserving it.
Yeah. Plus, I'm pretty sure that anybody else who would have won this would have been Brendan Gleeson. But they've split the vote between both of them. And it should be ranked choice voting. It shouldn't just be, no, it's ranked choice voting because Brendan Gleeson and Judd Hirsch, or I'm sorry, Brendan Gleeson and Carrie Cogan should not. Kiwi Kwan, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I don't know, we've spent the last fucking 90 minutes filleting this fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, straight up.
Fucking Everything Everywhere All at Once is the fucking movie of the year. Yeah. 2022 was Asian excellence.
Yep.
And it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. James Hong's 90 fucking 4 years old and still gives one of my favorite fucking performances by a dude who barely speaks English in the movie.
I mean, he has his moments of speaking English, but
he does.
But like, dude, the fact that he still can do roles like that, is pretty remarkable. Like at his age, that's
the fact that he is 94 and is still sharp as a fucking tack. What? Real quick, not to go off on a tangent.
No, go ahead, man.
James Hong. What's your like favorite, like not like main character role, but like favorite side character role of James Hong? Because famous character actor James Hong, like
Lopan.
Okay.
What kind of a question is that? Lopan, or actually as oh fuck, how am I forgetting? Oh my god, why am I forgetting her fucking name from Wayne's World? Tia Carrere. What's her character's name in that movie?
Vanessa?
No, it's not Vanessa.
Hold on, I'm gonna double check this real fast. Tia Carrere, Wayne's World. Sandra
Wong. She plays. He plays her dad in that, and him and Mike Myers have a fight scene together. I fucking love that.
Also, am I tripping, or is Tia Carrere the chick who plays Nani in fucking Lilo and Stitch? That's Tia Carrere, right?
Might be. I don't remember. Lilo and
I'm
Stitch.
double checking that. Also, Tia Carrere is fine, bro. Oh my god, bro.
Tia Carrere played Nani.
Tia Carrere, yeah. Bro, Tia Carrere had a fucking 1987 to fucking like 2002.
She was a fucking
dog.
Fox.
I mean, she's still a fox. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'd say the exact same thing about Ming Na Wen. Ming Na Wen, baddie, bro. Michelle Yeoh could catch it.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Jesus Christ. We are at the final one.
Yeah.
We're at the final one. I know what I want to win.
I know what I want to win as well, and I think everybody really wants him to win it.
I think that if everything was scripted, this is what wins. Like 100%. I think if it was scripted, this is what wins.
It's Brendan Fraser.
It's Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser for The Whale.
It's Brendan Fraser as the whale in The Whale.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone else, like, don't get me wrong, I think Colin Farrell is probably like the closest one behind him. Austin Butler as well is clearly.
I haven't seen Living, but never count out Bill Nighy.
Yeah, that's true.
Never counted a guy who has been in multiple episodes of Doctor Who, and been a fucking member of the Pirates crew, Pirates of the Caribbean cast. Like Bill Nighy doesn't give bad performances. Bill Nighy gives great performances in bad movies.
Yeah, this is
and
also
in bad TV shows.
This is also the only time Bill Nighy's ever been nominated for an Oscar for any of his work.
Bill Nighy should have been nominated for an Oscar for the 100 words that he said about fucking Vincent Van Gogh in the episode Vincent and the Doctor.
Oh, I
Go
love that.
fuck yourself. That is by far one of the most emotional fucking scenes that I've ever seen. And if you count it out, he uses exactly 100 words.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Bill Nighy's a fucking savage. I still don't think he's gonna win. I think Brendan Fraser is gonna win because it's the Renaissance.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Paul Mescal,
I haven't seen Aftersun.
I haven't either, but I just don't think anybody cares about it. I think the three in the race. I mean, I think it's Brendan Fraser's to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brendan Fraser's to lose. It's Colin Farrell and Austin Butler, and even then, I really don't want to see Austin Butler win that one and fucking rob Brendan Fraser, because you know what it's going to remind me of a lot. Except, you know, in this, actually, it's going to remind me of a number of things, but I guess this would actually be the better one than I was going to say.
The Greatest Showman.
No, when Eddie Redmayne beat Michael Keaton.
Oh, The Theory of Everything and Birdman.
Yeah. At first, I was gonna say when Sean Penn beat Mickey Rourke, and Mickey Rourke was having that fucking comeback, and everybody was loving Mickey Rourke.
Was that The Wrestler?
The Wrestler and
Milk.
Yeah.
See, I know some Oscar things. I'm not a great Oscar guy, but I know those movies came out right around the same time.
I also know so much about the Oscars. And it's one that if you don't
if you don't pay attention to it, if you're not keeping up with it, if you're not like looking at flashcards, you're
gonna lose it.
Exactly.
Because like, mind you though, there's also like I have a friend of mine who can name you every Academy Award Best Picture winner since 1960.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like Andrew James Barr and Caleb Boatman could do some shit like that. Probably Jake Marangoni too. But like me, no. Bro, like Oscars is not like, it's not even like a weak spot like it is for a lot of people. It's just I'm bad with movie release dates.
Yeah,
which is what fucks me because I'm like, okay, this movie came out in this year.
Now,
yeah. Oh, real quick, movie release dates math. The amount of years between Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It's 1973 and 2005 or 6. I'm just trying to remember when that's.
You're good. Take your time. Do your math. Show your work.
33 years.
It's 34 years.
34 years. Fuck.
Because so you were close.
72 is when. No, 70.
71.
71. Oh,
it's 1971 to 2005.
Okay.
And I just learned that. But guys, we have broken down the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us. We have broken down essentially a majority of The Last of Us, the emotional manipulation that would give you, the emotional manipulation that video games give you, casting better people in video game movies than you would have ever thought possible, because Spider-Man and that racist Southie are not it. They just really aren't. We have talked to the Oscars. We are pushing 2.5 hours right now. I know that it is like 4:30 in the morning for you.
Yeah,
it's like 1:30 in the morning for me. Yeah, I need to get ready for fucking bed. I know you do too. We have a quick conversation that we're probably gonna have right outside of this, guys. But if you like this, you can go ahead and follow me on TikTok at JBurns. JAYBURNZ. You can follow me right here on my YouTube, which I do also believe is just at J_Burns. And don't follow me anywhere else other than my Twitch. But if you follow me on TikTok, you can find my Twitch there. So don't worry about it. Sean, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Sean_Sandberg. You can find me here talking with Jay. And yeah, please come back for some more burnt offerings.
Yeah, yo. We're gonna get that down one of these days. But ladies and gentlemen, we are the fuck up out of here. Thank you for joining us for episode 3. Hopefully, it won't be a month and a half until we get you our next one.
Yeah,
We just got to find a date that works for the both of us, especially with like the ethereal way that everything works and the fucking miasmic fucking flow of work schedules. We'll figure it out. One being in entertainment, the other being in food. It's a little difficult, but until then, just know that we are the #1 podcast on the world, not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Fuck Raid Shadow Legends. We are out. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.